Welcome to the April edition of the Voodoo Podcast. Moving along this year, and it is going by so fast. But we are here. We're back with another episode, and welcome back to all the listeners and viewers now, as we are still rolling with the video. Most of you may know me as a Walking Dead fan, but move over, Rick Grimes. There's a new zombie series sweeping the haunt world, and it's out now, season 2. And because of that, there's an incredible new Chicago haunt builders creation on the block. Plainfield is home to the Corroded Souls home haunt, which pays homage to the series The Last of Us, with their incredible artistry and details on the clickers that they have in their front lawn. Please welcome to the Voodoo Podcast, Rudy, Durand, and his daughter, Sophia.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome in, guys. I know, Rudy, we talked last October outside your haunt, but I can't remember. Was your haunt always themed after the show and that
It,
video game, or did you have something else on the lawn before that?
no, it wasn't. It was more based zombie themed, post-apocalyptic, but it was more an homage to Night of the Living Dead.
Oh,
And then we changed it up a little bit here and there. We had some homemade props. Uh, so we would try to add a character here or there, and not necessarily one themed, just more a little bit of everything.
gotcha. A little
So
George Romero action on the
a
front
little
lawn. I
bit, a
like
little
it.
bit there, and then we added a little bit different. We wanted to decorate the windows with something different, and so we just went like everyone else does, just a little bit of everything. Cherry picked, some ghosts, some ghouls, and things like that. And yeah, we decided to stick to one theme, and that's how this happened.
Well, I want to dive into, rather than meat and potatoes, I guess I'd say flesh and fungi of your display, which would be the clickers. For those that don't know, clickers is what some of the that's what some of the zombies are called in The Last of Us, similar to how The Walking Dead they call them walkers or biters or rotters. But these
Right.
clickers have distinct features compared to other zombies in the fact that they are like giant decaying mushrooms that are growing from their faces as fungi spreads. I haven't seen enough of the show to really know what I'm talking about. That's my general. I've seen like a little bit of episode 1. I played the game for like 5 whole minutes. But Sophia, your dad was telling me that you are the talented and creative mind behind the clicker heads in your display. So how did you replicate Hollywood movie magic in these creations?
Yeah, so I had watched the show, and so that's how I came up with the idea. I mean, I had known of the video game before, I just never played it. And so watching the show, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And like my dad said, we've already had zombies, and like the bodies of our clickers were already made. So I was like, what if we just switch the heads? So I then went on to look at videos and pictures, and I was like, I feel like this would be pretty easy to make. Like, I feel like I could do this. So I just followed this one kind of YouTube tutorial. He was making a mask to actually wear on his person. So I had to kind of switch from that to make it something that could be outside and like withstand the elements. Um, so it was pretty simple. I just used a lot of foam board and a clay material. It's a foam clay, so it's super super light. Like the masks themselves probably don't even weigh a pound. And then I just use regular acrylic paint to paint on them, and that was pretty it. It was pretty straightforward, and I've been pretty like artistic, I guess, my whole life. So it was something really fun and challenging to do.
That's incredible. Yeah, you mentioned the elements and home haunters. We know all too well that that's the biggest thing that you have to prepare for, especially here in the Midwest and in Chicagoland. And we talk a lot on this platform about how, particularly all of us in the Chicago Haunt Builders have like the same props, either because of the group builds or we were all learning to build the same props through, like you said, YouTube tutorials or other kind of things that you find on the internet that gets shared in the group, or just what's hot in the haunt world. But the breath of fresh air is that each of us haunt builders display these props, especially the motorized ones, completely differently. I'd say with replicating the clickers from The Last of Us, you have successfully made your wiper motor zombies stand out amongst pretty much the whole rest of the group. Are you getting a big draw to your house now throughout the season because of this and because of the fans of the show?
Well, it's funny. The first year we decided to do it, I came home from work one day and I wasn't really motivated or looking forward to doing something different for Halloween. I just recovered from COVID, so my mind wasn't there. So uh, it was, I show up from work one day and Sophia is already working on the heads at home. So I had no idea about the show or anything. And so when I show up, I asked her what he was doing. She goes, "Oh, well, I'm making these heads. We're going to be making we're going to be making these heads for the zombies." And she's like, "You have to watch The Last of Us. They're from The Last of Us." So I was like, "Well, what's that?" Just, "Dad, you got to sit down and watch this. You really have to sit down and watch it." So I had no idea. We're talking about she's already, had this vision and she's already working on this project. I had no idea. So I had to hurry back, catch up on the show. And so the first year, because we were so behind, we didn't put ourselves on the group. We didn't post it. So it really was word of mouth. The way it just started gaining some interest. We weren't on the website. We weren't on the haunt builders on Facebook. Didn't do any kind of posts. And so there was some haunters that live nearby here that are really really talented artists like Pumpkin Riot and Dave and Aubrey with their Stranger Things house. They came out because I knew them already. And so when they came out, I think I posted it on my personal page, the Rudy Durand page. And so they're like, "What is this? What are you holding out for?" And I said, "Well, we didn't have time." So it wasn't until this last year we decided to come up with a name for our haunt and invite, the community and people outside, especially the Chicago Haunt Builders family, to come and take a look at it. And so that's when it started gaining some steam, and with the help of other pages, and we put ourselves out there. Yeah, we got some attention, which is very flattering. We got people from all over coming by, and it was nice.
Well, you mentioned the abundance of incredible home haunts and even some haunted houses in your area. Do you get a chance to kind of collaborate with any of your haunt neighbors before, during, or after the season, other than, just being able to see each other's displays here and there?
We got together as a family. My wife and my other daughter Isabel, they helped out too with the build. It was Sophia's idea. She had it on paper, and we were just all the helping hands. We put it all together, but we decided to go to the shindig that they do, the Chicago Haunt Builders shindig, and we brought our display and we set up there. Um, we brought some of our walls and we brought our clickers, and so for all the people that didn't get a chance to see, we brought that scene and we created a nice little corner for them to see. So it gave us a chance to interact with so many more people, and so we've done things like that. And but as far as other activities, I've been together with some of the group builds. I've been there for those, so it gives me a chance to network and get to meet some of the other people and the amazing talent in this whole Chicagoland area.
Yeah, our co-host here on the podcast, Matt Nauset, he's currently taking a leave of absence because he's got baby number two on the way. So
Oh,
he was
okay.
he was telling me that you guys partnered up for one of the builds and you guys are working together. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to kind of come full circle and get you on. But yeah, you had brought some of those clickers to the shindig and set them up, and I buried the lead a little bit for the audio listeners. They won't get a chance to see it. So go over to the video on the YouTube because behind you is one of the clickers that you guys have on display. I mean, that thing is just awesome. Have you guys gotten a chance to see any of season two? I know it just came out, but what were your thoughts on season one? And of course, without any spoilers, how has
Right.
season two been?
Well, don't worry about the spoilers. We haven't started season 2 yet.
There you go. There
But
you go.
yeah, season 1, I fell in love with it. It's just I love the concept of an actual virus that could potentially, 'cause I guess there is some sort of fungus that's out there on a smaller scale, but just what they were able to do with the program, I just love the concept of kind of like a refresh of a zombie, but in a fermented state, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Sophia, did you just stumble upon The Last of Us, or were you always into, like, with Dad doing the George A. Romero stuff out in front, were you always into zombie flicks?
See, I'm kind of a scaredy cat when it comes to this stuff, which is kind of hard to believe because I'm over here making it. But the reason I started watching it was actually because my boyfriend had introduced me into it. He had played the game, he knew about the show, and he was like, "This is something we really need to watch." And so I was like, "Okay, I guess we'll watch it." And once we started watching it, I think the thing that I liked most about it is with a lot of zombie movies and zombie shows, I feel like they could get a little bit kitschy. They could get a little bit silly sometimes, and I feel like I like the serious take of this show, and I like that it wasn't just like jump scare zombies. Like there's an actual storyline to it. So that's what initially got me interested in it, and I just like the design of them overall because they were something different. It's not what I expected them to look like. So once I saw it, I think that's what drew me into it the most.
That's a good boyfriend. He's taking notes. He said, the future father-in-law is doing this haunt thing. I got to give him the spark notes and
He
turn
just
him on
scored
to
some
this thing.
points there. I didn't know that.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, listen, I'm gonna make your home haunt even better,
Yeah,
Mr.
planting
Durand.
some
So,
seeds.
yeah. That is awesome. You've also used some great nature effects in your haunt with all of the plants in front of those like half cracked brick walls and even the tree branches on your driveway, which you have turned into a two-lane highway, basically. How do you find enough plants and tree limbs to set that all up and really stage the scene?
Well, we try to be as organic as we can with our props, to make it look as real and as we can, right? We wanted to make it look like a deteriorated neighborhood, um, and so a lot of that tall grass that we use, we have in our backyard, and so October it gets 4 feet, 5 feet tall, and it's a process, it's work, but we cut it down and then we stake it on our front lawn to create an just a scene where everything's just been overgrown. And so we had the idea of, again, we started off small, and we were looking at the overall front of the house, and we said we need to add to this. And we have such a beautiful blank canvas on the left side of the house. A buddy of mine said, "You need to turn that into a road." And immediately clicked. I said, that's brilliant. We're going to do it. So that was like the highlight. Let's create the road. Let's put some debris out there. And, the trees and the limbs that came from just images of, now I'm all in, right? So now I'm doing some research, and well, what does that look like to me? What would it look like? And so, okay, you need to have some kind of overgrown, just trees and limbs and just debris, like it's just been abandoned for a long, long time. And so that's what we wanted. We wanted to make those fresh um, highway lines look like they've been there forever. And so that's what we wanted to do and create, like an environment that has been abandoned for a long time. And so the trees, they literally were being cut down in early October from a neighbor. And I'm walking my dog down the street, and I got so excited. I literally pulled over. I said, "Hey, can I keep those? Can I have those?" And they're like, "Sure, we'll cut it down for you, and so that you can." I said, "No, no, no, don't touch them. Leave them just the way they are." he was like 5, 6 houses down. I said, I love them the way they are. They're going on my road. And he looked at me. He's like, "That's beautiful. That's a great idea." Because he knew what I was talking about. I want to put a lamb over the street, over the highway, and yeah. So I mean, everything's just been, everything just comes together with ideas and just uh, with just organic things that we find and just will it look good there, yes or no, and we go through a process and we kind of have to go through a vote on what goes where and things like that, so it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, we haunters are kind of the epitome of one man's trash is another man's treasure. And
Absolutely.
even if it is just tree branches and they think you want to use it for kindling, you're like, no, wait, I got a better idea. But no,
Right.
that is awesome. Now the road itself, I have not seen, like I said, too much of the show. I am more Walking Dead. Let me actually get my the horror horn's got to make an appearance every episode as well, but the Walking
Right.
Dead hat too. But
Yeah.
um it reminded me of like the early highway scenes in Walking Dead, and I'm sure there's
Yes.
roads and stuff in The Last of Us, but it was a nice little combination of like everything that zombie flicks and series encompass, really, like this old
Absolutely.
abandoned road.
So yeah,
So
that's what we wanted to do is, and when there's an apocalypse, whether it's zombies or in this case the humanity is starting to dwindle away, and so civilization is starting to look like um, something out of you know um, the end of the world, right? And so that's kind of like what we wanted to do is just make it look like it's the end of the world, and every year we kind of want to add a little bit to it and um, change a couple of the props and make them a little older. So that gives us the advantage of continuing making it look more deteriorated and say, oh my God, look, the walls are starting to grow fungus on them, that type of thing. So we'll be able to continue to add to the decay, I guess.
I love that because not to like bring that back to once again Walking Dead because I know we're talking The Last of Us, but like all of the seasons of Walking Dead, the intro at the very at like it says The Walking Dead,
Yeah,
the words themselves decayed over the seasons to
sure.
kind of show you like what state the walkers, the zombies are in, and how
Right.
far along you are in the story. So that's a nice touch that you can add to your home haunt, a subtle touch that keeps
Without
things.
changing it too much. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and it keeps it, I want to say fresh, but like in this case, I guess not the opposite of fresh, right?
Right, you
So,
want the opposite. Yeah, that's
yeah.
actually what you want. So I don't know, maybe that gives me an idea. Should we add some, add to the senses of the smell, right? Should
Oh
we
my
add,
God.
right? You never know.
That is something I touch upon a lot in the haunt world, mostly with professional haunts because it's sometimes hard to replicate at home when you're in like an outdoor front lawn
Yeah,
environment and stuff
yeah,
like that. But what I think a lot of people outside the haunt industry don't realize is one, it is an industry. I mean, it's not just
right.
okay, decorate for Halloween and set up and stuff like that. It has become this industry, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that the professional haunts, they have learned over the years to adapt and play to all five of your senses. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
a
see them.
science. Oh yeah,
It,
there's a
it
science behind
is,
it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You're gonna see them. They're gonna scare you, right? That's sight, right?
Right,
You're going to hear them coming when they're screaming at you. Most things are no touch, but like when you're in a tight spaced environment like that, maybe you brush up against a couple things, so you
right.
have touch in there. And maybe not so much taste. Although then again, we haunters, especially the pro haunters, we put a lot of gross stuff in our mouths. Let's be real.
Right, right.
But then smell was like the only thing that like wasn't really touched upon
Yeah,
until you start seeing like these rooms that have, like maybe it's a bathroom scene or something like that. And ew, gross.
right,
That's
right.
disgusting. But now even like haunt actors will have different scents on them in order to like encapsulate their character and to really
Yeah.
bring out more from that. So for you to be doing that with a home haunt, that's going to be impressive. You were telling me that you might be looking to add certain effects, but more along the lines of like lighting and fog
Yeah,
effects,
I
especially
want
on
to
that
add
driveway.
a little bit more to highlight the the highway. Uh, Not too much, because then it gives it away. It still has to look, um, it still has to look like it's abandoned and dark, but at the same time, I got to consider the safety aspect of it too. And so, one of the challenges this past year was creating a path, um, for all of the trick or treaters, and getting them to walk around a course. So I actually had to create, a little path, and so we didn't go with lighting, but we went with some neon paints to direct with some signs and stuff, and it worked. So those are the type of issues or things I think about, is because we are going to start getting a larger crowds. It's not necessarily a walkthrough, but you do want to try to make it as interactive as you can. We're trying to maximize the space we have, and since we are using a driveway, my whole family's like, okay, cars off the driveway during the week, and then especially on the weekends and stuff. And so we set the stage, and then during the week, the funniest images I've posted is our cars, and every day, parked um, inside this scene. But I do want to tap in a little more with lighting, for safety aspect, but at the same time to create some ambiance. And we have some ideas with another prop that we're trying to finish, and he's going to need some lighting. So I'm already, trying to figure out the best way to make that happen.
And we added some new stuff with our windows with the red. That was new this year. Our red sheets that we have.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, to make the house look like it's glowing from within.
Right. And so
Nice.
that we decided to go all red, and we tried to go red on the clickers, but it took away from the detail of their faces. So we went strictly white on the clickers, but then created the scene with the shadows, and with all our tall grass, and then the red. It just, and with our tree out in front, so it just creates. Um, Again, we don't have a lot, but we have a lot of shadows, and so we use that to our advantage, and the unknown of what's going to pop out or whatever. And so, yeah, adding to the driveway is our next challenge, and we're happy about some of the ideas that we're trying to put together.
Ooh, I'm excited. Speaking of those ideas, I heard you say he is going to need some lighting. Sophia, your artistry skills might be called upon again, as your dad has told me that you both are looking to add a few other types of zombies from the show. What can you give away of what you have up your sleeve for 2025?
We started our new prop last year.
We started
last year, but sometimes I could be a little bit overconfident in what I can finish. And so I was like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to be done. So we're going to try and get that done this year. He's really massive. He's like 6 foot something.
Yeah, he's big. And
He's big.
The problem is, we don't want to just hurry up and put something out there. Right? It's got to look right. And so we put them together, and we didn't like the way the upper torso looked. So we scrapped it, and we said, nope, this is not going to happen, because once we get that whole the dimensions of the upper torso going, then we can go ahead and model the outside similar to the way the way her head is. So once we have that base, then we can build outside of that, and sculpt it per se. That's kind of what we want to do. But it's got to be proportionally correct. Otherwise, what are they doing, right? So, and we're taking some pride into it. We got to make sure it's done right, because now the eyes are out here, right? They're coming out, and so we got to make sure it looks right.
And I'm definitely like a perfectionist when it comes to things like this. So when I saw that it wasn't turning out exactly how I wanted, I was like, let's just take a break from this. And he's definitely a lot more work, because it's like a full body thing that I'm going to have to paint, rather than with them, they're like fully clothed, and it's really just the head and the face that I'm painting. So with him, it's like full body, and it's just a lot more going into him, which is going to make him so cool. He's going to stand out, but it's just a lot more care we have to take with him.
And that's the thing about this, as opposed to a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
He's in another stage of his infestation, right? Or uh, his deterioration,
Mm-hmm.
or the fungus has pretty much taken over his whole body, so it completely morphs into something else, and there's no more clothes, and it's just full blown, full blown last stage clicker, you know. So it's
Nice.
kind of what we're working on now.
You took the words right out of my mouth when you said perfectionist, because that we haunters tend to be like, it's got to be it's got to be movie quality before we're
We're
throwing
never
that up,
happy,
right?
right? We're
Yeah,
never
right, yeah,
happy. Yeah,
yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's beautiful." We're like, no, it needs this. Or, oh, you know what? Hold on, the wind is blowing on, and you're constantly changing or constantly fixing it. And while everyone's admiring it, you're still like, well, it could have been better, or it's supposed to do this, right?
The biggest thing in like show business and especially this type of stuff is the cliche that the audience doesn't necessarily know what is or isn't supposed to happen sometimes. So like you can hide a lot of things and but it's still in my head, like when we're doing voodoo, it's like, no, hide these wires here and this doesn't look
Yeah,
good. And
yeah,
everybody's telling me, like, they're like, Mike, they're gonna be walking through a dark, they're not gonna pay attention to that tiny little corner. I'm like, nope, it's gotta be.
yeah. Right.
I'm a stickler. I'm just ask anybody in our group. I'm Voodoo Hitler. It's fine. It's all good. So I want to jump into a segment I like to call the Voodoo Personalities segment. That's sponsored by Voodoo on Vassar here. Sophia, we touched upon your artistry skills already, but when you aren't adding to those phenomenal touches to the haunt, are you using these type of skills in your everyday life? Is that a passion of yours?
Yeah, I mean, for a while, I wasn't really doing anything art creative wise. And I feel like this was kind of my start into that and just made me fall in love with it again. Right now, I'm studying graphic design in school. So I'm doing a lot of art that way, which is really exciting. And I feel like honestly, doing this helped me figure out what I wanted to do and like what I wanted to study. So I feel like art is a really big part of my life, and it honestly started with this. Like, this just drove my passion for it even further.
A lot of graphic design. Are you using like Adobe suites or what kind of stuff are you designing?
Yeah, I'm doing Adobe. I do right now it's just kind of the basic stuff. Like, we're doing logos, we're doing posters, we're doing everything like that. I'm working with like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, the whole Adobe. That's my whole life. Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, from the broadcasting side of things, yep, that's us too, but more on like the video side of things, like cutting
Mhm.
clips and stuff, but a little dabble in, whatever we can as far as, making flyers or, bulletin board material too, but
Mhm.
nothing to that. I'm not that creative, nothing to that extent. Rudy, the clickers weren't the only thing that you brought to the Chicago Haunt Builders shindig. That brings me to the best part of the show for an Italian like me, food talk. You actually have a bachelor in barbecue science, and you had your own barbecue company that you shared with the Haunt Builders at a previous shindig. Tell me a little bit about that passion and what you're doing with cooking and barbecue right now.
Um, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That's the first time that I attended the shindig, and I had a mobile barbecue business, partnered up with a couple guys, and so um, at that time everybody was, oh, I'm bringing these skull panels, I'm bringing these masks, I'm creating these, I'm bringing these tombstones. And so I was like, okay, I'll bring the brisket. And so that's how it started. And so I decided to bring the brisket. Back then I was we were selling our barbecue at a farm, a local farm here in Plainfield, and I was able to meet Dave and Aubrey uh, from Horror Props, and they started doing some work there, and that's how I started collaborating with them and Brian Hunter as well, since we're all neighbors. And so that gave me the opportunity to break bread, right, with some of the home haunters.
Quite
And
literally.
yeah, literally, yeah. So it was a lot of fun to do that, and Jim Slanker was awesome for allowing me to bring our barbecue. And so it was just a gesture, as like, hey, well, this is what I'm doing right now. I don't have all the time to work on my build, but it was nice, and I was very grateful to be able to do that. Um, and so that's how I, wound up meeting more and more of the haunters in the group. I've always loved cooking, and we were doing that on the weekends. So I have a full-time job. I work for the railroad, and then I was still doing that. And then now you squeeze in a little bit of the home haunters, side of it, from late summer to October. Now, I'm not getting any sleep whatsoever. Um, but the business is no longer. I still enjoy cooking, and now I can concentrate a little bit more with things around the house, and then with the home haunt. So I still love cooking. That's never going to go away. But my other passion definitely is Halloween building for the community, and for our family.
I could just see it now. We talked about those five senses. Here's where the taste can come in. You can have, the ribs that look like zombie flesh out for everybody to sample and stuff like
You are
that.
not the first person that brings that idea up.
Yeah.
So it's
It
not
might
a
not
dumb idea.
it might not be the right smells you're looking for going
Right.
back
But
to
yeah,
that, but
but
yeah.
that'll bring them. Yeah, that'll bring them, right?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that year that you had brought all that stuff to the shindig, that was awesome. I know I got to try some of it, but obviously we weren't familiar with each other at that point.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my grandmother made some mean baked ribs, best recipe I had ever tasted. So I'm gonna have to put that to the test when I see it. Maybe we'll get a little cook off going. I like it.
Oh man, don't put no pressure on me. I've got enough pressure. I've got enough pressure. We got, the deadline is coming. October's right around the corner.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I can replicate it pretty well, but I can't. You can never perfect grandma's recipe, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
no, don't even. That's fine.
no,
Yeah.
yes. What would we find each of you doing outside the haunt world and outside of these hobbies, these specific hobbies and passions that we've talked about, whether it's the graphic design or the cooking?
For me personally, I've been doing a lot of running. I just this past, it's going to be a year ago, in May, I did my first half marathon. Um, my parents both, you were the first one that started to do it, and you've ran a couple marathons already and half marathons. So my dad and my mom have both done it. And so I was like, I just took inspiration from that. And so I've been doing that to just get outside of the house and have a hobby besides my art and school and work. So that's kind of what I do, like the biggest thing.
And for me, now being away from the business and having more time for myself, I've been catching up with a lot more things to get done around the house. But working on myself, and now I'm at the next phase. I'm starting to eat better, and so now I'm working at physically. I got to start working out too. So that's one of the things that I want to get into. Start running again, and so seeing Sophia run all the time now, it's kind of like motivating me or kicking myself. I said, okay, it's time for me to get back out there now that the weather's nicer and stuff. So that's some of the things I want to start, doing, stuff for myself.
And we've done 5Ks where my dad dresses up as Michael Myers and walks the
So
5K.
so I did, yeah. So I did a 5K. It was it's in October. It's the Dia de los Muertos 5K, and I showed up as Michael Myers and I stalked the 5K. I didn't even walk it. I stalked it. So it's kind of a little faster than a regular walk, but yeah, my feet were killing me after that because yeah, I had the Michael Myers boots. I didn't have my running shoes, but that was
You had the mask
yeah.
on, you couldn't
Oh yeah,
breathe.
no.
Like,
But it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's nice to be able to get the whole family involved in personal health and getting out there and run. Running's probably, you're a glutton for punishment if you're a runner. But I'm wired that way. I got suckered in and now I can't let it go. And I got to get back into it.
You have to be. You have to be. I hadn't run for a while since, I mean, my best mile times were during high school soccer, and then you get a little lazy afterwards and whatnot. But I got back into it recently, and it's been a good way to clear your head and also
Yeah.
get some positive flow going as well with the exercise. And yeah, you're preaching to the choir over here because trying to eat better, trying to exercise, whether that's at the gym or running or whatnot. But
Right. Right.
congratulations on your first half marathon. That's awesome,
Thank
Sophia.
you.
But yeah, we'll get you in those actual marathons like mom and dad eventually. And they should
Yeah,
have
maybe
given
we'll
you,
do my first one with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll
Well,
do it
he,
together.
It's something that, I just brought up earlier this year,
Hmm.
and my family looks at me like you're crazy. Oh, here we go. Here we go again, because it's a sacrifice. You got to be selfish with your time, and so you have to prioritize that if you're going to be able to at first get to the starting line, and then after that make sure that you come out of it in one piece, right? So yeah, there's a lot of training involved, and so I sometimes put my foot in my mouth by saying I'm going to do this, because once I say something, I pretty much commit. I'm all in. I just go all board, right, full throttle. But I want to do it smartly now. I want to do it. I want to do it. I don't want to just sign up and just say, okay, now I got to start. I got to start training. No, I want to start training, and then once I'm ready, then I can start dabbling here and there with some halves, and then eventually get into the fulls again.
well, I
So.
already know that you have a medal from all that because Mike Myers never runs, but he always catches up. So you had to have won that
That's
race.
Yeah.
true. That's true. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, we know that now, you guys have gotten into The Last of Us, but and you mentioned that you had a Night of the Living Dead theme before, but what other horror flicks and series are you guys into or just kind of taking some interest to, even if you're not watching the whole series or movies?
Stranger Things. It's so good, so well
Hmm.
done. That's one of my favorites, right? Um, and just try to keep up on, just watch the latest horror movie. That's my take. But I love the old ones too. Give me the B, horror themes or horror movies that you find on Svengoolie. I'm a big fan. Saturday nights, since I was a kid. And my other daughter, she'll sit down and watch the cheesiest horror movies with me, but she gets it. It keeps me young. It keeps me that's pretty much it. It keeps me young. I don't want to forget how it started for me, I guess, and so it just moved into the home haunting part of it, and that was by accident too. That wasn't actually planned. So it was more of when we moved out here to Plainfield, I would still go help my mom trick or treat, give out the treats. And so I put a prop out in front of the house and said, okay, let's go. We're going to grandma's. So we go to grandma's. And then when I came back, my whole house got bombed with eggs. I was
Oh,
so upset. Yeah. I was like, because no one was out there to give candies. So
oh wow.
yeah, so now I get back to the house. I'm like, okay, so now it takes me a long time to get it all cleaned up. I said, never again. This is never happening again. So I had to break the hard news to my mom. Sorry. I'm not going to be at next year's, Halloween with you. I got to stay here and keep an eye on my house. So we started adding a couple more props. And then before you know it, they started having contest, decoration contests in the neighborhood, and so it got competitive. And I was always out there trying to outdo all the other neighbors, and would always be the runner up, the bridesmaid. And it never really happened until one year. We did the zombie theme, and we added as much as we can, um, or as much as we could, and we really decked it out, and we got first place one year, and then that was it. But by then, it's like once you start, you can't stop, and so
Yeah.
now you start seeing, um, little kids, they're grown up now and they're bringing their kids. And so when you start hearing the stories about, I used to come here as a little girl and now I'm bringing my kids here, and it makes you feel old, one, but two, it makes you feel good about doing something good for the neighborhood. And when they say they look forward to it, and we moved away from the neighborhood, but we still come back, that's a humble feeling, you know. So you can't let those people down. And then as the neighborhood changes, we get new families come in. They have no idea what they're looking, you know, what they're up against for our Halloween, and so that's always fun. But then it became a thing, and so now we're at a point where we really are passionate about it, and we do it for the neighborhood, and we're not in it for all the clicks, all the likes, all the follows. Hence why we just recently created Corroded Souls and put it out there. But it gives us an opportunity to share it with other people who can't make it. And for those who can, thank you for coming. You know, that's pretty much how it started.
Yeah, it's hard to compete in a town when you have Infested Oaks, Dave and Aubrey, and they're doing their Stranger Things stuff or whatever movie they're taking after, and then also
Yeah,
Brian over at Pumpkin
Cheryl
Rot.
Calendar, she's down the block. She's like 10
Cheryl,
minutes
yeah,
away.
yeah.
You know, she's one of my favorites.
But I'd say you guys are on that level now too, especially with taking after something as popular as The Last of Us and replicating, like I said before, that movie quality out there. But this is crazy that this all really started from something bad from, and I don't want to give any credit to those jerks that egged your house, but like you took it into a positive spin. I mean, you could have been like, I can't go and see my own mom for tradition every Halloween, and I have to
Yeah,
stay and guard dog my house. But instead of like tightening the locks and staying inside your house and shutting the
yeah,
blinds and making sure that
yeah.
you don't get egged again, instead you threw it all up onto the front lawn and we're like, no, we're going big and better. So you can't egg us. That's crazy.
And the wonderful thing about that is, um, we get teenagers, preteens and teenagers, 17,
Mhm.
18-year-old kids. They ride their bikes, they drive by, or they're walking by, and everyone has been so respectful.
Mhm.
And that same type of age group that would probably egg people's houses that come to our house, and they're thankful. They actually come, they ask us questions, and they tell us how much they appreciate it, how much they look forward to it. Is Michael Myers going to be out there this fall? Those type of questions, and so that's another blessing too. That everyone respects and appreciates what we do, and so it completely flipped full circle, and we're getting the complete opposite, and it's been nothing but heartwarming, the response that we get from everyone in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
That's great. That is amazing, especially because you mentioned a competition, and sometimes in some of these neighborhoods, we've had it firsthand here, but also in other communities, other townships. They throw up the competition, and it becomes a little bit like a popularity contest, or
Yeah,
people are battling each other rather than coming together like the Chicago Haunt Builders tend to do, and
right.
that's more of a, not to bash Christmas, but even Jim Sliker came on this podcast and was like, the Christmas vibe is the Griswolds. Everybody has to have one more light than the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
person, and there's not a whole lot of like, group collaboration like there is with Chicago Haunt Builders. I mean, of course, the Chicago Haunt Builders that are in the group that also do Christmas, they're talking to each other, but there is no compiled list of all the Christmas houses because everybody's just posting their own, oh, come see me. So,
yeah,
for you guys to have that community down in Plainfield and not let the competitions get to you and continue doing what you're doing for the community just for the smiles that you put on everybody's faces. And I talked about this last episode with Sherry. It's crazy that, just something that each of us start based on the fact that we want to show our own creativity and have some fun with it has
yeah,
literally turned into memories for like other people, and like you said, they're bringing their kids back, and yeah, it
yeah,
makes you feel old, but at the same time you're like, wow, this is like this is some legacy type material, right?
Yeah, you're passing it on. You're passing it on. And one of the wonderful things about the Chicago Haunt Builders Group is that we're all very supportive, and no one tries to outshine anybody. We're all supportive of everyone. And I love that about the group. And so my family and Sophia, everyone is fairly new to the Chicago Haunt Builders. I've been part of the group a little longer, but really never posted anything. I just loved, following and watching and learning. But since we've been a little more proactive and, started sharing what we're doing and attending some of these shindigs and other prop builds, it's been it's been it's been great to introduce that to my family and have the girls be a little more involved in that aspect of it, to see that it really is a wonderful community. What we all do, whether it's the donations that some people fundraise, or yeah, it's some of the things that they do for just outside the community. You're just bringing a lot of smiles, and then the memories. You can't put a price on that.
Oh no, absolutely. Do you guys do any donations at your haunt now that you're
Not
a
yet.
little bit more
No,
established?
no, not yet. But again, yeah, again, that's the next thing, right? You want to give back. So it's something that, yeah, obviously, it would, down the road, we'll see what we get into. But yeah, I'm big friends. I'm very close with Mike Lesh and Sarah out in with the Haunted Barons.
Yeah.
I actually work with Mike, and so I we got to make it a trip out to his house every year. And he's he does a lot of donations too. He's got a huge heart, and so I love what they do, and some of the other popular communities here too. So everyone does their thing, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah, Mike and Sarah, great people. We had them on this podcast as well, and they do the donations for the rescues, the dogs and
Yeah.
stuff, and their display is great as well. We always make it a point out to go and see them too. But that's a small world that you guys work together, or did that happen after you guys already knew each other from the group?
No, we just he showed up to work one day, his first day, and we just I think I saw like a Michael Myers tattoo on him, and I didn't think there was anyone as uh, crazy about Halloween as I was at work, right? And then once I got to talking with him, I was like, oh, I've got nothing on this guy, because this guy's blood's got to be orange. Um, but yeah, then I wound up getting a locker for him right next to me, and he's been my locker buddy for about a good 7 years now, and that's all that's all he talks about. I try to talk about something else, but I mean, he keeps me uh he keeps planting that seed in the back of my head, and I appreciate that, because yeah, you do want to um life moves real fast, and there's a lot of things that come and go. There's a lot of negativity out there, but um, that brings a smile to my face, and people need that little escape, right? That the escape of reality, and into just a time where I remember um, that I enjoyed as a child. You just so that's just a reminder there. So seeing him every day, when I see him, it's that constant reminder that, hey, we only have like 3 months to go. Let's go. So he's there for that. So I need people like that in my life.
And they help us a lot with like our props and stuff and
Some are his.
ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of his junk
Oh,
he donated to me. And so I was like, hey, I got this. If you know, I said, bring it here, bring
Like
it over.
stop signs
Yeah,
we
so
had.
yeah,
Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
we collaborate and with ideas and things like that. And so yeah, I talked to Brian Hunter. I just saw him yesterday at Home Depot. I was like, where are you at? So we always stumble across some of the haunters, and so it's fun to be able to talk shop in the middle of spring, you know.
Look out, it's April and they're already at Home Depot. Look out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could just picture you at work with Mike and you, hey, Mike, did you catch the game last night? Did you see that? And Mike's just, oh, what I'm adding to the house right now, me and Sarah are
No, he'll
building this.
just, he'll just show me a video. I'm like, he did it the other day. We were having lunch and I purposely sit a table away because I just want to enjoy my lunch. And he shows me a video of someone creating a clicker mask. And it was cool. I just sent it to me because I don't want to do that right now. It's still April. It's still like you got so much. You try to balance, right? He doesn't have a balance. He's got it all on one side, and that's pretty much it. Where I, on the other hand, I try to balance everything and try to make sense of everything that I do.
He'll send me those reels and those posts as well. And
Yeah,
it makes my mouth water, but at the same time, I'm like, shoot, I'm like, even though we have the monthly podcast and even though we're always thinking of ideas, I'm like, I don't
yeah,
have time this month to sit down and do this stuff. It's incredible that they find the time to do that kind of stuff. And I wish I could. But I appreciate him sending me all of those ideas and stuff because
you know
eventually
what I'm
I am
saying.
going to use them in some capacity. So,
You're
you
right.
know. You talked about a clicker mask. Sophia, I know you said you can be a little bit of a scaredy cat for this stuff, but we have a bunch of actors that come to Voodoo or, even in the haunt world and the pro haunt world as well that like they don't want to be the ones scared, but they love
Mhm,
doing the scaring. They love when they're behind the scenes and they have the
mhm.
control. Are we going to see any live clickers at the haunt in the future?
See, when I was younger, I used to dress up as a zombie and I would stand in our front porch and scare the trick or treaters. And I loved it. I loved when I just remember standing up there, standing so still because I was next to a prop that we had. And so her and I are standing next to each other. We're like the same size. And there's people looking, they're like, is she real or is she fake? Is she real? And they're like, she's blinking, she's real. And I love that. I love that fact. And I love being that. But
Don't put her on the other side though.
no, don't.
Yeah,
No,
no.
I don't like that. I can't
She
do
likes to be
that.
behind the scenes. Yeah.
I can't do that.
And so that's funny you say that. I try to go to haunted houses and try to catch, some ideas or just see what people are inspired by. And I've done it once or twice with family, and Sophia has only gone once with me. And so it was,
You went to Statesville.
yeah, yeah. And so it's not her thing. She can't go there. Everyone's screaming, they're yelling, and there's all this terror in their eyes, and I'm looking at the walls and I'm laughing and I'm like, look at that. And I don't get scared. I get impressed, I get amazed, and I'm just kind of like going in there, and I just don't have that. I
No,
don't get.
he's the worst person to go to a haunted house with, actually, because like he says, he will just walk around by himself looking at everything.
So
Like,
I
oh, that's so
wander, I
cool.
wander off
And he leaves
because
me by myself.
so then I'm the bad guy because yeah, and my wife, she learned this a long time ago. She'll never ever go because I can't be trusted because I end up, drifting, and I'm just like, I look like a tourist when I'm in these haunted houses, and I wish I could take pictures, and I'm just like, in awe, like if I'm looking at, the 16th chapel, that's kind of how I react. But so yeah, I'm the worst for them to go, but then I can't go because then I'll end up going alone, and that's not fun either. So
Well, you're welcome to join our group when we go out and we see everything. You've always got a place with the Voodoo Squad. Then that
that's
way you
something
can go.
I'm gonna
Yeah, but
definitely.
you're gonna have your little notepad. You're gonna wander. Next thing you know, you're gonna be behind the scenes in like the makeup room or the lunch room or whatever. You're gonna like,
Right.
oh yeah, taking notes, and they're like, sir, you have
Yeah.
to go back to the haunt here. Like, he's like, oh no, I was just taking notes. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right.
That's a lot of us haunters. Is like when we go through.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel bad because like I'm trying to give the actors their due because they're working
Right.
hard to scare you.
Exactly.
And
I
I'm
mean,
just
they're
like, oh,
doing their
sorry, I'm
job.
looking at the architect.
No. So what I do, and that's funny you say that. What I do instead of getting scared, I'll give them kudos. I was like, that was good. That was good. And then I'll go on. Because that was a good scare. I'm not scared, but that was good. I love how you positioned yourself, the lighting. Um, what you're wearing, all that. I'll give them credit right there. And they're probably looking at me like, oh, this guy's a weirdo. But I don't get scared, but I appreciate what you just did. You keep that up. That's kind of what I do.
No, trust me, they love it. They love every second of it, and you're not the only one. You're amongst the rest of the Chicago Haunt Builders, especially when like Jim puts together the
Oh,
yearly trip to whether is it Massacre or wherever we go,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's we're
I
the
got to make it out
slowest
to one
group
of
in the
those.
haunt. We're the
Yeah, I got.
slowest group in the haunt.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
We're just
no
looking at
one's
everything.
running through.
Oh, and I know how they did it. We're having a conversation in the haunt. We're like, and I know how
Yeah,
they did that. And meanwhile,
yeah.
the stuff's popping out at
That's
us.
horrible. That's horrible for the people that are, just trying to enjoy. Yeah, they got to send us. But I can only imagine you got to send these guys by themselves. That's
Actors are
funny.
probably like, these jerks. I mean, what are they? They're just taking this in as like the Louvre, This is a gallery
Yeah,
to them,
that's funny.
What is on the calendar for you both in the haunt world coming up? Maybe a little Midwest Haunters Convention or Chicago Haunt Builders builds? Anything on the horizon that you're looking forward to getting to?
Yes, I'm definitely going to go to. Actually, I got to hurry up and sign up for this next build coming up. They have a build coming up for. I think it's a crawling zombie. I think so.
I
I
think,
want to.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to get in. I want to go there. Got to sign up for that, but definitely want to make it out to the Midwest Hunters Convention. I'd like to take Sophia with me this time. I went with my wife, but this time I'd like to. I definitely want Sophia to go. Hopefully our schedules align, um, just so she can see, um, the level of artistry that's out there, and to not sell herself short. She's right there, in my opinion. She what she created, no one else did, and she was able to whip these up in no time, which blows
It
me
was
away.
4 weeks.
4 weeks, she was able to put those together, and she was very much. We were trying to help her create these heads, and she was like, "No, it's not like that. No, Dad, give me that back." And so she wound up just doing the whole thing because it had to look a certain way. So the fact that she was able to knock these out in the short amount of time, because again, my mind wasn't set to do anything. I was just like, I didn't feel it, and she took the reins on it that year, and she stepped up, and I love that because this came from her, and I fell in love with her vision of what she did, and so now I'm just kind of like helping her add to it. But yeah, definitely the Haunters Midwest Haunters Convention, that should be a lot of fun. And then yeah, I got to start getting back to work and work on the shop.
The make and take is the Wiper Motor animatronic make and take.
Yeah,
I won't
that's
give
in
out all the
a week.
info here because I know it's for the group. It's a public group, guys. You if you're not in the group, I recommend joining, but I don't want to give away all the details just in
Sure.
case there's outsiders that maybe want to crash the party. Uh,
Right, right, right.
just join the group. Then you don't have to crash
Oh,
anything. But
absolutely.
it's Saturday, May 24th, and I know that I'll have a radio show that morning since it's a Saturday and it goes till 10 a.m. So maybe I'll come a little late. And then I was trying to go to AC/DC at Soldier Field that night. So
Yes.
that's gonna be a busy day for me, but I'm
Yeah,
all
I
in for
know.
it. I'm ready to go. And then as far as Midwest Haunters Convention, I will actually be speaking. I don't know what exactly I'm doing yet,
Hmm.
but Chris Sarabsky and I are going to be hosting a couple of the either the stage events or I think there's like some relay races that they do. So I'm excited to get to MHC this year. The Friday night haunt is abandoned, so I'll be at that for sure. The Saturday is going to be a fun ride between the Chicago Haunt Builders breakfast in the morning to
Yeah,
the actual
yeah.
convention itself and all the festivities that carry over into Sunday. So I'm excited for that as well. So we'll definitely see you out there. But yeah, that's awesome. Where can people find you and your haunt? I know you said you were mostly posting stuff to your personal pages, but do you have any kind of pages for the haunt itself?
Yeah, we started Corroded Souls on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on chicagohauntbuilders.com. We're in Plainfield, Illinois. And yeah, we right now it's pretty much a dormant page, but as we start leading up, we start posting and sharing what we're up to, and some sneak peeks of what to expect for Halloween is what we like to build the anticipation and just have fun with it, you know.
I am excited. I am so ready to see what you guys have brewing. We will definitely stop by as a group next year and come and see you guys. Despite us being back open and probably myself going around to guest act still for a couple
Mm.
places, but we still always make it out to the home haunts and plan our route. And then if we come by you and you got nothing else going on, you're welcome to jump in the car with us and we'll go to some haunts. So
That's fun. That's when we started. We tried to do some create some routes for ourselves, is to along with having to put your schedule out there when we're going to be displaying. A lot of people are, you kind of want to be there to be able to answer some questions and things like that. So it's challenging to be able to create some scheduled routes, but we were able to do some last year, which was fun. And so we want to expand on some of those this year too. So yeah, definitely. I guess we just have to just start earlier and then go from there. But I guess everyone has to deal with that.
yeah, a lot of haunters can't leave their front
Yeah.
lawn, and
Yeah.
because ours is more of a run, like a walk through haunted house,
Yeah.
we have the ability to say, we're closed on such and such night because we're not actually acting and stuff. I mean, the lights might still go on the front, and
Yeah.
the people still might be home, but that's also what a Ring doorbell is for too. So like
Yeah.
we can leave for a little bit. I trust it, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I get it for a lot of other haunters. One
Mhm.
other thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here is you were talking about Mike and Sarah. Up the block from Mike and Sarah is a haunt that you were also talking about, Svengoolie. It is the Spirits on Sprout. We've had Eric on this podcast before. Have you gotten a chance to see that one?
We love his. We've
Yeah,
been there a couple times. Yes. It's not so much it's a museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
right.
time capsule. It's absolutely wonderful. It doesn't have to be gimmicky. It just has every character you can think of. And yeah, oh yeah, that's a definite stop. It's one of those places that you have to appreciate the um the passion for something like that, because he's
Mm-hmm.
got them all out there, and some are hand built, and it doesn't matter that they're store bought, or they're some of those are collector's items, and it's just like I've never seen this on display, so it's just a chance to be able to um, recapture your memories and start some new ones with your with younger kids who have no idea who some of these characters are.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like keeping it alive, keeping that genre alive from the early characters to today. So that's I love that. I love what they do. And yeah, that's a definite have to get there every year, even
We're
if you've
gonna have.
seen it. Yeah, even if you've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it,
yeah.
you go back because it's just wonderfully set. Just wonderful.
I try to bring a new person each year, whether it's somebody in our group or just somebody that I know to teach them that history and such
Yeah.
because he adds to it every year, but also even the stuff that's already there. It's like, oh yeah, now when I think of Svengoolie, I think of his house. I mean, it is
Yeah,
like hand in
absolutely.
hand because it is such a great, like you said, it's a museum, it's a gallery, it's not set up to scare. It's set up to have a good time and inform about all these
Yeah,
classic
that's it.
horror villains, and that's
Absolutely.
amazing. We're gonna have to get a marathon with both you and Eric in it because he'll sometimes dress up as Michael Myers or Jason, and you guys are gonna have to stalk each other in the
Oh,
and
he's got
speed
it
walk
down
it. Yeah,
too. He's got it
Right.
down too. Yeah,
He's
he's
yeah,
scary.
yeah. I couldn't even say hi to him because he was in character. I was like, okay, okay.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. No, that is awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. It was such a pleasure to get to talk to you and highlight your haunt. Please let me know if there's anything I missed, but if not, everybody can find you Corroded Souls on Instagram and Facebook. And if you got anything else you want to throw in here, now's the time. Go for it. This is your platform.
No, just very grateful that it was a lot of help from uh, Horror Props and Pumpkin Riot, who shared our page when we didn't even have one yet. And when we weren't on the Chicago Haunt Builders map, um, people didn't know how to find us. And so they put us on their link. And I want to just say thank you to them for sharing our page, to be able to just get some more eyes out there who otherwise wouldn't have been able to see it. So I want to thank them for um, being friendly neighbors and just, putting us on their platform. Very grateful for that. And so just hoping to pay that forward by, if we get a little more exposure, putting other places out there on our behalf too. If we create, a following, then we want to share and say, hey, we recommend checking this place out and that type of thing. Because it's such a wonderful idea what everyone's doing. Everyone's got their own thing. And it's so much fun for families to do throughout the whole month of October. So we live for that.
That is great. And Sophia, we look forward to whatever creations you have up your sleeve as you are. It's funny that you're making the heads for these things because you literally are kind of the mastermind behind the scenes of a lot of this creativity between you and your dad. So you guys make a great team. We're excited to see what you got coming.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. Thank you again for hopping on. My next guest is an absolute menace, but he's also one of the nicest guys ever. You can sometimes catch him working the line at Disturbia, and I don't mean the typical working the line like most haunt actors. I mean taking tickets, acting as an extra layer of security, and doing crowd control. However, he does do quite a bit of great acting as he used to be a slider, and he continues to tap into his maintenance role at Disturbia, even in character when he is dressed as Areush, the janitor. Please welcome to the Voodoo Podcast, Tyler Booth.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my man. We saw you last Friday night for the Easter event at Basement of the Dead. How did that whole weekend go for you at Basement?
It was okay. It was fun. I like doing the off-season events. It's you get to do whatever you want, pretty much.
Yeah, true, true. For those that don't know, what are your roles behind the scenes or even at game time at Disturbia?
Well, like during the off-season, so like now we're building and all that. I'm part of the build team, build crew, whatever you want to call it. During season, just fixing stuff that needs to be fixed if need be. Sometimes security. Yeah, I'm a janitor, so
Yeah.
one of my characters is actually a janitor.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a handful of things. I'm like a jack of all trades. I'd like to think, at least.
Yeah, you were definitely a huge part of that behind the scenes team. But you told me you actually started at Six Flags, is that right? What made you get into
Yeah.
haunting and specifically starting at Six Flags?
Honestly, I don't know why or how I got into this stuff because I was terrified of this in like high school. I went to Fright Fest for the first time in high school, and I almost pooped myself. Not gonna lie. I don't know why, but then the year after that, I was like, maybe I'll like doing this, and I decided to apply for it, and here we are now.
Yeah. Well, and then what made you kind of transition into Disturbia from Six Flags then?
COVID happened.
Oh,
I actually went to Six Flags wasn't open that year because COVID.
yeah.
So I actually went to Evil Intentions at first, and then I worked I think I worked at Basement for St. Patrick's Day. I forgot what year, but I just loved everyone there, and I was like, I want to work for these guys.
There you go. Yeah, so you haven't been with with Disturbia and Basement for as long as like I guess most people would probably think given like your stature there. But what
Yeah.
is kind of the difference between something like a Six Flags run Halloween event compared to one of these haunts that you've worked at now?
Oh, oh man, Six Flags, you have no creative freedom, in my opinion. You know, you can't make your own costume. You gotta. You don't really necessarily need to follow script, but you kind of do at the same time, you know. And that's what I love about like working at these regular haunts. You know, you could pretty much let that mind free. You know, that's what I loved about it. You know, like no one even like batted an eye when I was like, "Hey, I made this costume. Is it okay if I wear it or whatever?" And they're like, "That looks badass," you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I want to jump into this segment a little earlier on than I mostly do. This is the Voodoo Personality segment, sponsored, of course, by Voodoo on Vassar. We just had Dylan Simpson, A.K.A Drags, on here, and he talked about going to these like metalcore concerts. And I've seen you kind of dive into that same genre or even sing or, well, scream along. What can you tell us about your tastes for that kind of music?
Okay, okay, this is actually the funny thing. I never got into this music until I started working at EI. That the room that I was in played the same 5 exact songs throughout the entire night. But you know, I didn't get sick of it. I was like, dude, this shit's kind of fire, you know? Like so I just got into the heavier stuff from there, honestly. You know, like when I grew up, I listened to fucking Slipknot and all that, but then working there, and it's just yeah. But and then I taught myself how to scream probably like 2 months after that.
And you don't lose your voice doing all that?
No, actually, okay. The first time I tried, I definitely messed up my vocal cords.
Oh.
But then I was like, a couple months after that, I was like, you know, let me try again. And I tried it again, and I haven't had any issues since. So,
okay, well, that's good at least. I know I have headphones on, but can the listeners get a little bit of a taste of what that's like?
Oh no! Oh no! What do I do, man? What do I do, man?
You don't have to if you don't want to. That's fine.
I'll send you videos. How about that?
Okay, yeah, that works. That's just the same.
Plainfield 2024, return the fucking violence and put your walk away out of my life, you're fucking dead to me.
I'll throw them in there. Okay. Well, if you aren't haunting or working, where can somebody find a wild Tyler Booth out in the wilderness?
Dude, honestly, at home right now. I've been super busy and super tired, but usually you could catch me in Gary, Indiana, exploring abandoned places. Probably not the best spot to be exploring abandoned places, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
Okay, so yeah, are you out near Indiana now? Because I mean, Six Flags was north, weren't you up north?
No, I'm still north. You know, it's a hike to get down there, but every time I go down there, you know, I hit multiple spots. Like every other building is abandoned, so it's kind of nice.
That's interesting. Okay, so last year during the haunt season, I went to Reaper's Realm for my first time ever. But of course, it was there last year because the claimant laws over there are taking that location and such.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be an abandoned building for a little bit. Is that on your list, or is it places like that?
I honestly didn't think of that. I honestly did not think of that. But
I don't want to get you arrested for trespassing. But yeah, no, I mean that was
everything's legal until you get caught.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's a good way to think about it. That building, even when it was up and running, like it's in a creepy area, and it was made to be creepy inside. I know they're
Yeah.
probably taking a lot of it out to sell it on auction. I actually saw it was listed on a couple different places, but that's not exactly the home haunters budget right there. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. So yeah, a little bit of a hike
Actually,
for you
another
going on
fun
there.
fact about that stuff, though, is like that's where I kind of get a lot of my inspiration for like ideas and stuff for the haunt. Like I go to a church like all the time down there. It's completely ruined, but like that's like I take like mental photos of it, kind of, well, and regular photos, but and then I get just ideas from it, like
Yeah, yeah.
a lot
I'm
of the
sure it
gamer
helps in the haunt
places.
world.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, another thing that you're out doing in your free time when you're not haunting or not getting caught for trespassing is that we talked about you playing in net in hockey
Oh
as well.
yeah,
It's
yep.
awesome how much the hockey and haunting world kind of cross over, but
You know
goalies
what?
tend to
I
be,
agree with
yeah. There's so
it.
many
I
people
did
too. It's
not
great.
realize. I did not realize until like I met you and then some other people. I forgot their names, but yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a weird thing that they cross like that, but goalies tend to be the extra weird ones. Did that call to you, or did you just kind of get thrown between the pipes one day?
Honestly, I got into hockey super late, and I'm kind of mad about it. I think I went to my after I went to my first Hawks game. I was like, I want to do that, but I know I wouldn't make it to that kind of level. But uh, I was watching Corey Crawford play, and I was like, dude, this guy's a boss. And then I started playing like floor or iceless hockey, and then just decided to throw on some skates randomly one day and just go in my backyard, and the rest is history now. Like I'm not gonna say I'm great at skating or anything, but I think I'm a pretty good goalie if I'm on solid ground.
There you go. There you go. So Areush is going to be starting for the Blackhawks next year.
Yep, you heard it here first.
That's awesome. Well, I did mention that you are Areush, the janitor. Talk to me a little bit about like what your janitor uh, duties on a daily basis kind of tend to be when you're out there haunting.
I'll do you one better. I will explain this entire story on how this name even got created.
Okay.
And I will explain what I do. uh, so MHC last year, me and Psych Jam Music, Justin Marchant, we were just hanging out, and we just started the Borat voice, and he's like, "I am Martin Kamitsky," and he's like, "You are Areush." I'm like, "Okay." And we talked like that for the entire weekend. We nonstop. It kind of got annoying, not gonna lie. Probably for other people more than me, but
That's
now
fair.
now everyone at Disturbia does it though. And I'm like, oh no, I created a monster.
Yeah, when I was there, it was you guys were even parading around with a DVD copy of Borat.
Wait, what?
I don't know
Did
if
I miss
you
something?
did you were you not, I'm pretty sure they had a DVD copy. I think it was Dylan and Jesse, I think were running around with that. So
I don't remember that. Oh no.
I'll have to ask them about that. That's something I didn't bring up with Dylan when we had him on last month, but yeah, oh my gosh. But yeah, what are your
But some of
duties
the things,
now?
dude, honestly, I just sweep a lot.
There you go.
I
There you
just
go.
push around a cart and sweep. Sometimes I grab some like a water sprayer thingy and I use my mop to wipe down the side of the building. Probably isn't doing anything, but it's worth a shot.
If you ever see weird mop streaks on the side of the building, you know
It
where it
wasn't
came
me.
from. Yeah,
It wasn't me.
that's insane. Well, talk to me through what happened to your janitor cart on the staircase at Basement of the Dead.
Okay, so that's when Justin was in town for like the weekend or whatever, and he was acting at Basement because, that's his home.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Nick. I'm like, you know what? He had this idea to just randomly show up at Basement one day. I was like, hey, Nick, is it okay if I do that, please? So then Justin can see Areush in action. So I get ready at Disturbia. I drive over to Basement. My cart and everything is just in the back of my car. And we're like walking into the parking garage. And Jason and Tressa are there. They're just laughing their ass off. And then like Steez was there. I forgot who else was there, but they're all just like, what the hell's going on? I get to the stairs and I decide to just push my cart because I thought it'd be funny. But I forgot there was paint on it, and the paint like opened and exploded pretty much.
Oh,
But yeah.
oh my God! Did anybody get paint drenched all over them?
No, it was early in the night and no one was really there. There's probably like 5 people in the line.
Well, that's
But no one
good.
was near the stairs. So yeah, it's really good. I would have felt terrible.
What color
I
paint
would have
was it?
drove home. I think it was white.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, definitely not the color of concrete down there.
Yeah.
Or the brick,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, you are a very comical janitor, and I heard that Haunted House Chicago loved your work last haunt season. We also talked to Tila Halpin, aka Buna of Zombie Army Productions, and she talked about kind of like walking a fine line with a character that can sometimes be taken as like cultural appropriation. Of course, you're not going for that. You're just, playing
Yeah,
around to a
no.
funny side.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of stay true to your character while also making sure not to like offend anybody at the same time?
That's a good question. I don't say anything really bad, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I know what to say, when to say it. You got to read your crowd,
Right. Yeah, that is true.
That's pretty much all I do.
Tila was talking about like she even looked up traits and characteristics of the nationality of they don't like to be called gypsies, but the gypsy lady that she is. So, um, but apologies, I forgot the actual technical term or the race and religion. But yeah, with Areush, I mean, you have movies like Borat that exist, so I feel like it's a little bit more of an okay thing. And yeah, like you said, you're not going around saying anything too out of pocket, unless you have, like you said, the right audience in front of you. And
Yeah.
with haunt acting, I guess we all have kind of learned, and we can tell, what's going on with who we have in front of us. But did you ever have an incident either in character, when you're, or even when you're front of the line like security with like an unruly patron? Maybe there was somebody that had maybe a few too many.
Oh, I mean, everywhere you're gonna have that. I haven't really had an issue with it. I usually I hear it come over the radio and I follow that group. I have had to kick people out before, like in character or whatever, but I haven't really had anything really necessarily happen to me. What I do hate though, is when, let's say I'm working in the house and they go like that. Dude, I hate that. It's like, dude, you're paying money for you to get scared. Why are you doing it? Like, come on. That's probably my biggest pet peeve with customers, is that 100%.
Yeah, you get the tryhards in the line. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this on one of our episodes, but it was actually when I was at Disturbia with you guys, and this was during the regular season, so I was rivets, and like the guy, I slid up to the guy or whatever, and he's like, "How much do you bench, bro?" And I'm just like, what? Like in character, like I ripped the one mask off and I had the other one beneath. I'm like, buddy, you look like you skip leg day. And I'm saying it in character, but like he looked like a stork. What do you want from me? Like,
Oh,
It's these teenagers, you know, unruly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the tryhards, I did actually have this one where I scared him and he just got all defensive. He's like, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. Like, you better get away. I'm like, dude,
Dang.
really? I actually broke character. I'm like, hey, you spend money for this shit. Like, settle down. Like, if you want to go in, settle down. Because that's all it's gonna be in there. You,
Yeah, I mean,
woo-saw. Woo-saw.
well, I mean, I had one of those too. The Valentine's Day. It wasn't one of the times you were out there on the line. It was towards the end of the night. I think you had already gone in to start prepping for shutdown and everything. But there was a gentleman that came, and I think he was with his girlfriend because there was a lady with him. I couldn't really tell, but I was playing that Italian character, and so like I went up to him. I'm kind of speaking with the Italian voice, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Say hi to the kids, blah blah blah, and whatever. And he's like, after like 2 seconds, like I wasn't even around him for too long, and he's like, don't you have somebody else to go and entertain? He's like, get out of here, buddy. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't even break character. I was like, oh, oh, oh. Oh, Madone. Oh, okay. But like I could tell like he did not want to play around. So like I stepped away, still in character, I will add, but stepped away, diffused the situation. But then I went up to I don't know if it was Randy or who I told. I forgot who was standing there at the time, but I was like, hey, just like keep an eye out on this guy because like I don't know what his deal is, but like he just didn't seem like he wanted to play nice. But it is what it is. You'll get a couple bad eggs here and there, and yeah, like you said, it's funny because these people are paying to come through, and you think that they're looking to like have an enjoyable time. And it didn't seem like she dragged him there. It seemed like he was standing in line first, and he came up just as eager as anybody else. And
yeah,
all right, well, to each their own then, if that's how you want to run this experience. Cool, pal. Yeah. I briefly mentioned that you were a slider for a little bit. What kind of character traits or creativity did sliding bring out from you when you were in that role?
Oh man, I don't know. Elaborate.
Like you were obviously a different character. You weren't Areush
yeah.
yet. What was that character, and like what did you use to like get your scares and stuff like that? Other than of course sliding.
So I haven't done it in a while, but I still like. I have some characters that I have slid in before, like Daryl, my homeless guy character, Olaf, my doll guy. I slide in him sometimes, like I don't know, like for Daryl at least, I like crawling a lot more than just running and sliding, I guess, because I feel that fits the part better, I guess. I don't know. I think the main like reason why I got into sliding though is from playing like hockey, like the goalie aspect kind of thing. I don't know how because it's two complete like opposite ways of like dropping down on your knees, but yeah, I don't know. I just slid for fun, I guess. And to lose some weight, it's a great workout.
Oh, dude, it is. By the end of the night, like especially in season, like off season can be like a little bit more low key. Like you're not. I mean, you're still, especially Disturbia. Like you guys still pack the house for Christmas, Valentine's Day, like even Easter, like you name it. Like it's still pretty popping. St. Patrick's Day we just had as well, and the line was nice and long. But yeah, I mean, in season, you can't beat that, and you're on your feet for what 4 to 5 hours, just feet, and then you're dropping down to your knees, you're getting back up, you're popping. I mean, it is legit a whole workout. I was just talking on last episode with Dylan. We have a little double dose of Disturbia going on here, but we were talking with him, and he was saying like, yeah, he's like, I feel like it would be similar to what you do in hockey and stuff, and we talked about the similarities and the differences, but you're right. Like there is a lot of differences to it, but I guess us hockey guys can look at it on the surface and see how it is relatable, but know the characteristics of each to really know that like you're maybe using similar muscles, but you're a different type of tired at the end of the night.
Oh yeah.
You also did you have another character as well? You had the Scarecrow. You had
Oh yeah, that was I had Six Flags. I had the Scarecrow, and then I had this character named Nine,
right,
which
yeah.
I kind of forgot about that guy.
So
And
yeah,
then
you've gone as a
yeah,
couple different things.
yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't really make up my mind on what I wanted to do. But then like Olaf kind of stuck, Daryl stuck, and Areush now. I don't know. There's some days where I want to be more scary, and then there's some days where I just want to entertain people. You know,
Yeah, I mean it's a
that's
good
just the
healthy
best I could
mix.
explain.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're there to do. Like the biggest motto in this haunt world is like you can't scare everybody, but you can entertain everybody. And I feel like as long
Exactly.
as you have that entertaining aspect, like you're going to be fine in whatever role you choose. Of course, depending on if it fits the character, right? So you can't always be the comical janitor, but hey, Areush is a great addition to any haunt. But another cool feature about you as a haunter that my Disturbia insider Nick Serralo told me about
Oh
is
no.
that I believe was it your Olaf costume that you were able to be lit on fire? What was that
Oh
all
yeah,
about?
I would light myself on fire a lot. I don't know why I did, but I did. some
How
dude
did
just
that work?
randomly some dude just randomly gave me a lighter one time, and like I just started lighting myself on fire. One of the rips in my costume, I just lit it and let it grow to probably about like here.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're glad you're still here and you don't have any third degree burns. But yeah,
There's one
that's
time
crazy. Oh
There's
no.
one time a Halloween blast was walking through. They just got out and they were like talking to David, and I'm trying to get their attention. So I'm like, I have an idea. I laid down on the ground, lit myself on fire. Nick said that this flame was probably like 4 feet tall. I
Oh
don't know
my
how big it was.
gosh.
It was. I didn't feel hot or anything, but he fucking came out and stomped on me and put it out. So
Oh
yeah,
my God. When Nick's
Sarah
breaking
Sarah wasn't
character,
a Sarah wasn't a fan of me lighting myself on fire.
I could see a couple of the liabilities with that. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, they say goalies are crazy, so I guess it fits the bill, right? You're on fire then in the crease. That's how it is. Yeah. Tell me a little bit of backstory about the time that you walked out of Disturbia. This was on an off night, so it's pitch black. You guys were setting up, I think, for the Valentine's Day haunt.
Oh, is it the cops?
Yeah, and the two police officers were knocking on the door. And didn't you have like a heavy flashlight in your hand or like something
No, I had
questionable?
scissors.
Oh, scissors. That's not great
Oh.
either.
So, story time. Dude, this scared the shit out of me. So me and Dayton are there, and we're parked pretty questionably. So, like, I kind of understand. Like, before I start any of this, it is nice that they actually patrol back there, because there's been multiple nights where I've been there and there's just random ass people just chilling in the parking lot, having like a bonfire, it's some weird stuff. But so I forgot something in the car. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go grab it, and I thought I heard like banging. I'm like, dude, David, you're wrong. This place is haunted. Like, there's banging going on in the walls, bro. Like, come on, it's haunted. Uh, and then I walk outside and I'm just greeted with a flashlight, and then I see the two cops. I'm like, oh, I work here, and they just asked me a couple questions, and I guess I took a video of our security camera, and I was pointing the scissors every time like I wanted to point somewhere. So I didn't realize that until I saw the video, and I was like, dude, I'm fucking dumb. But yeah, they were like searching in our cars at first, and then they did see that there was like a door kind of propped open,
Oh yeah.
and yeah,
Did they
that's pretty
try?
much
Did
it.
they try the door? Did they come in at all?
They tried to open the door, but they could not open it. There's one door that we have that looks like it's open, but it's not.
Oh,
It's
I got you.
just how the door jam is. But yeah, I shit myself. I was scared.
Hi, officers. Here's my scissors.
I forgot exactly what I was doing. I think I was painting something, but I needed. Oh yeah, I went out for brushes. Yeah, I had brushes in my car, and I was greeted by two cops.
Perfect timing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, I think Disturbia may still be a little bit haunted because I made the mistake during Valentine's Day. I was giving out in the line those little Reese's chocolate hearts, and I left a package of them by the DJ booth overnight. And because Sam told me, he was like, "Oh, you could leave them here for tomorrow," and I didn't think about it. And next thing I know, I came back the next night, and there were like some little nibbles in some of the wrappers, and I was like, "Oh no, I can't be giving any of those out
haunted,
now."
bro. That ain't haunted. That's just some mice.
That's just mice, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, yikes."
There was one time Sam didn't hear it. He's deaf though. Like he even I don't know if I'm going crazy or not, but we were there working on the new room that we're working on right now. And I swear to God, it's only me and him. I swear to God, I hear Jason Seneca yelling, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Like it sounded exactly like him. And I was like, "Bro, I want to leave."
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm probably just crazy, honestly.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think about that though, because like, and he wasn't there.
No, it was just me and Sam.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind next time I come over to act with you guys. No, it's every time I'm there, it's everybody's there, so maybe the ghosts run and hide, but wow. Okay.
I feel like I'm probably just paranoid, I hear a knock on the wall. It's just the company next to us. And then I just start freaking out, I start hearing everything.
Well, it's not going to be Sam that hears it though, because like you said, he's got tough hearing. I think that's probably from being up at the DJ booth all night. Who's the best DJ at the haunt?
Me, Areush, number one DJ.
Areush is number one DJ.
Number one DJ, USA. Yes.
Have you haven't DJ'd at all, have you, or have you?
Oh hell no. But I'm the greatest, hands down.
If you're the best at something, like don't do it, unless you're getting paid to do it, right? So like,
yeah, exactly.
They gotta pay you more.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
There's actually, if you ever guest act at Basement, there's actually a sign that I made for when I surprised Basement, and I think I made 3 signs. I had Kelsey and my brother help me make them because I was trying to get ready. One said, Psych Jam, number 2 DJ, USNA. Another one said Areush, number 1 janitor, USNA. And then the last one that is still at Basement is Areush, number 1 DJ, USNA.
We are here to party. I was told to come here first day on job. Who is this man? I am come what?
He's over there.
Oh!
He's over there. Not playing very good music, but that's all right.
What?
That's all right. You're number 1 DJ, right?
Yes, I am number 1, and I am number 1 janitor in the USNA. Very nice. We are, go.
What do you think? What do you think, Brush? Right now you're Sammy.
I'm Sammy right now.
I'm killing right here.
Well, we have to get you on the turntables now.
Yeah, dude, I'll kill it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'll do it.
I was going to say, do you know what you're doing? Have you ever done something like that?
No, I'm going to play music that no one wants to hear, but whatever.
Oh, Lord.
Number 1 DJ. Number 1 DJ can do whatever the hell he wants to do.
You got to give it to him. That's great. Well, we spoke to, did you get a chance when you were at Evil Intentions to work with Tyler Areush?
Oh, yeah. he was the manager at the time.
Yeah. He's
we
awesome.
We didn't really talk a lot as much as I wish I could have. But yeah, he's very, very smart. Like,
yeah,
knows a lot.
He was telling me, well, we had him on our February episode, and we were talking a little bit about how they've got, the Nightmare Forge up here in Elgin, and, all of his time at multiple different haunts, especially now being at Old Joliet Haunted Prison. And he talked about how that cast and crew talk about being on their quote unquote like best behavior when they go visit their in-laws at 13th floor during like the off-season events and stuff like that. Does it feel kind of like that when you're headed to Aurora for basement, or vice versa when basement comes to you guys?
Not really, honestly. We're just one big happy family, I mean,
Yeah.
We help them out, they help us out.
Yeah.
As it should be, like I don't know. I don't see any beef or anything.
No, yeah. No beef for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of people that sometimes you don't always get a chance to work with. But I would say that, yeah, you guys are much closer to basement, not just geographically, but like there's a lot of crossover between the two. So
Yeah,
it's not as foreign sometimes, I feel like, and especially because maybe you guys have both been around longer. I know Disturbia used to actually even be in Rosemont. It was Disturbia Screams in the Park before it was. I think it was purchased by Basement of the Dead. Is I always get this story wrong, but
I think they moved to where they are, and then I think a couple years after that they sold it to Basement.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. So but I mean, yeah, you guys collaborate quite a bit, and Old Joliet Haunted Prison, they're still newer. Maybe they're same time frame as you guys. Thinking back to it now, but I think it's a much larger hike to go from basically like the Schiller Park area down to Lockport, Joliet area. So they don't always get the crossover that you guys do. But yeah, I sometimes when I go into work with you guys, whether it's at Basement or at Disturbia, I struggle to see like who's Disturbia and who's Basement sometimes, because I'm like, oh yeah, you're not there. Yeah, it's so much of a nice mesh now between the two that it works out.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
But yeah, I mean, the Senecers now, like we said, they own both. How does that like management kind of work between the two? Are they having to like split their time all the time between the two haunts?
So this is how we kind of, I mean, again, we all kind of try and help each other out, but how it is like David and Sarah are always at Disturbia, like during the season, like during off season, and Jason and Tressa are at Basement kind of thing. So that's how it's kind of like split up.
Gotcha. Do you have any nothing that's going to get them canceled, but any funny stories behind the scenes of working with them? Because I know you get a chance to work very closely with them.
David is the greatest singer of all time. I'm joking.
Really?
It's just so funny though. It's so funny. He always adds like, all I gotta do is purr. He just adds like stupid shit to the songs. Like most of the time it's pooping or don't die. I don't know. It's just so funny. And then he'll this is the funniest thing though. We're talking in our like Borat accent, and then he gets a call and it just instantly switches. Like he's just straight face, I laugh so hard every time that happens. He's like, very nice. Oh yes, hello. It's just so funny how he just can switch like from that to that.
That is awesome.
And then right when he hangs up, straight back to it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys love to have your fun over there, which is why I felt like the freedom to kind of go for a little bit more of that comical role on the line. Like I had Rivets, and Rivets can sometimes be comical, but Valentine's Day when I got to act with you guys, and I was Val and Tino.
Was funny as hell. It's so funny.
And we were just talking about this the other night. I mean, putting the meatball sub in front of that little jet heater that you guys have that's run by, is it diesel fuel? So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to die
Yeah.
early, but it's okay.
Whatever. You know, I heated it up.
It was such a good idea.
It
Yeah.
was warm. It was warm.
You just took the sandwich from me and you're just like, I didn't know what you were going to do. I was passing it around to let everybody have a bite. I probably shared that sandwich with so many people that night, and the chicken parm the night before. So swap and spit, that's disgusting, but it is what it is. But then, yeah, I was like, what is he about to do with it? And you just put it in front of the heater. Dude, even the wrapping on it was like the restaurant
It's
foil
like
wrapping, and it started to catch on fire. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to burn this place down. It would have been Olaf all over again.
Yep. Yes, sir. See, me and fire don't really mix. Or they shouldn't be mixed.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I like to think that I'm a pyro, so.
You got to be something in life, right? Might as well be a pyro. So, and you're going to Indiana all the You're going to Indiana all the time to these abandoned buildings. They got millions of firework places out there. So there you go.
Yeah.
Setting these abandoned buildings. It'll help with the demolition process. You knock them down quicker. You know?
I don't want to knock them down. Those are my homes away from home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I actually got a gun pulled on me one time, and that was not fun.
That's not good at all.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep going back.
What the heck happened? Was there a guy like squatting there or something?
No. So me and my buddy, this is actually all on video, except for the gun. We didn't catch the gun on video, but me and him, we have a YouTube channel. We haven't posted in a while, but this was our first time going to this church that I was talking about earlier. And we go to the second floor and we see a light like come through the window, and we're like, oh shit, there's a cop. So we run down the stairs, we get outside, and we run to like the road pretty much, and the car pulls up, and it's just a regular car, and it was a flashlight under a gun. Like you could see like the silhouette of a gun behind the flashlight. And my buddy was like, it's a gun, and we just fucking run. And it looked like they were looking for someone, so I don't know if that person's okay, but yeah.
Yikes! Well, at least they weren't looking for you.
They didn't say anything to us or anything, so
they were coming for Areush's #1 DJ title. That's what it was.
No, they ain't never gonna get that.
They were like, this man has said he is better DJ than us in US of A.
No. You'll never get this. You'll never get this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, how annoyed were you with the Italian character who was always getting Valentino was always getting in the way from the people that were trying to
You know what? It wasn't just you, so
no,
you can't be blaming this on yourself solely, but that really did piss me off.
Because by the end of the night, I'm like, oh my God, does he actually really hate me, or we're just playing a character?
In the moment, you know, I was getting a little ticked off though, because I'm trying to let people in because it's cold as shit, and then here you guys are just holding them up.
You know, I'm not going to stop. Like I'm still going to be doing that.
I'm just going to keep throwing you out of the way if I'm in that position.
I'm going to just be continuing to piss you off. Yeah. But you got a chance to dress up as another character for the St. Patrick's Day haunt. It was you got to be from Braveheart.
Freedom.
Yeah, I heard you were doing that a little beforehand in the makeup room and in the powwows.
Yeah, so for the past 2 years now, I've done that, and I still don't have the speech down. So I'm sitting there trying to read with my pretty much blind contacts, and yeah, there's videos of me doing the Braveheart speech before they go into battle. But yeah, I think this year's was definitely a lot more funny than last year's. So. But yeah, I guess David actually did that before for St. Patrick's Day event, and he actually got pulled over that same night. And the cop would just saw him, and he's like, you have a nice night. And he just was let go, like, instantly.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to ask him about that. That's hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Well, that night I also learned there isn't just video evidence of you doing crazy stuff out there. There's photo evidence. I mean, there was the photo of us that I believe, was it Rachel that brought up to us? She had that disposable camera. And she got the pictures developed, and I don't even remember taking the picture, but I'm just like in the background. Did you get a chance to see it? Did you end up seeing it?
Is it the one of my
No,
piece?
I was gonna go into that next, but no, it's a picture of who are you standing with? Are you standing with Jesse or Dylan or Nick? I don't know who you were standing with. I can't think off the top of my head, but maybe I'll ask Rachel for the picture. But I'm just in the background, and I just have this weird look on my face because like I got caught like mid picture, I think. But I don't remember ever even like being present for that.
I don't remember those pictures at all either. Cody came up to me one time and he like showed me a picture, and that was me with my ass out, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? When did I do that?
Yeah, so that was the other picture of you that I saw that the NSA would and the FBI would like to have a word with you because that thing is a weapon on the back there.
I'm not here. Dude, what can I say? I got cake.
Oh my God, yeah. Hey, why is it in his wallet and not your own? Or do you have a copy yourself?
That's his
copy. You got to get a copy.
His ID. That's his ID. I actually do have a copy. It's not as good though.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's like on the side, so you get a side view of my butt on the picture that I got. He got the full moon
in the afternoon. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like digging into my wallet and like I don't know if you're like taking a girl out on a date or something like that. Like I can't imagine like digging into your wallet and she just sees you having a picture of another man's behind. Like what in the world? Like
Cody's mine. It's okay.
Lot of questions.
Cody's mine. Fuck you, Rachel. He's mine. No,
oh my gosh.
But yeah. I forgot what he was saying, but he said it was some sort of identification card. I think it was for like his electrical union or something like that. He's like, oh, look at this. And then he just flicked it down. And he was showing like everyone. It's great.
I think with me, I think they said it was, I was like, are you FBI? And he's like, yeah, here's my badge. I can't remember what it was. I was like, oh my gosh, that is not what I was expecting to see. I'm scarred for life now. I hope you know that.
No, you liked it. You definitely did.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
You don't need to lie to me. It's okay.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you did see what I was dressed as for Valentine's Day, so jury's still out, I guess, right? That's crazy.
I think I ripped those pants off you one time.
You did, and it was hot. It was nice.
Yeah.
I didn't put those pants on until like I got to Disturbia, but like the one night, I think it was the Saturday night, I was a little bit of a home dresser, hockey term, but a little bit of a home dresser. So I got most of my costume on at home because I'm like, I don't really want to be like, I have the luxury and the freedom to do it in my own house. Like I'll put all the stuff on, so I'm not changing in the back rooms at Disturbia. And I was walking out of the house and my mom looked so disappointed in me. She was like, her face, she was like, or maybe she saw a picture of me, but she was like, oh my God, that's what you're wearing. You're wearing your underwear on the outside of tights, red tights, and it's pink underwear. And I was like, yeah, what do you want? You raised this. I hope you know that.
I think my mom thinks the same way about me. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? But then like, she's very supportive. So, you know, it's like it's a lose-win situation. You know, you could tell that she's like, what did I raise? But then like, she's supportive. So it's okay.
My mom's the same way, but yet like when she runs into, I've told the story on the podcast, but when she runs into Chris Sarabsky, Chris is like, oh, your son, he's great. Like we love Mike and blah, blah. She's like, yeah, I kept the receipt just in case. So
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, I'm getting returned. I don't know what store I was bought at. Probably like the Walmart version of Walmart, if you know what I mean. Like just back
Don't
alley.
worry.
Like maybe
Don't worry.
it was a drug deal. I don't even know at this
I'll
point.
buy you back. I'll buy you back. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, what is in store coming up? I know you were kind of hinting at a room that you guys are changing. We heard a little bit about the changing of Cage Maze from Lainey back when we had her on. I don't know if we've talked to anybody else since then, but what kind of spoilers can you give us of what's coming to Disturbia?
I can't really give anything, sadly.
Nothing, not
I
at all?
can't.
Hints?
I cannot, sadly.
Ah.
Okay, I don't know if I should say it or not. I don't. All I'm gonna say is we are changing our crypt room.
Oh, okay.
All I'm gonna say.
That's the one when you walk in?
It's like right next to the bathrooms, like where changes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of thing.
Oh, you're changing. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the
Chains room.
the catacomb-ish crypts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's cool. That's cool. Well, I did see you guys changed up one of the rooms to become, and I could and we could say this publicly because it's completed and it's what fans will see when they come to the haunt. Without giving too much away, though, one of your final rooms is now a very cool, like an antique. It looks like an Italian lady's basement because there's drapings over all of the furniture. But I mean, there's a bunch of like, no, I won't go that far. I won't spoil what's in there. But I was talking with Nick Chains, and he was saying that the tubes or the tubular structures
for
pipes. The organ, the pipes, they were just found at Basement of the Dead, and they were going to get thrown out. So you guys salvaged them. What was it like, kind of building that room?
Dude, honestly, I thought David was crazy. I'm just gonna say it. We call it the ghost room, and he's like, "Dude, we're doing sheet ghosts." I'm like, "Oh, okay, David, yeah, let's do it." I'm like,
but then start saying boo and rar now,
dude. In the end, though, like, that probably one of my favorite rooms. Honestly, like, actually, it is my favorite room at the time being,
I would say the same thing.
There's so much going on, but it's not like too much, I guess, No,
yeah, you're right. I mean, the detail is just incredible in there, down to like where the cobwebs are placed and everything. And you would think like, oh, typically like a sheet ghost isn't scary. I mean, look at this one saying Vafangul, but like, but they make you guys make it work. So
that's exactly what I was like thinking when he said that. I was like, David, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? But then, like, it all came together, and it's a fucking masterpiece, It's so cool. And, like, for instance, those organs, Bill hooked them up to, like, some solenoids and stuff, so when you step on a pressure pad, it starts playing. It's so sick. I mean, it's not playing any songs or anything. It's just fucking one constant, like,
but it's a good jump scare.
Yeah. Honestly, you can't really hear it, but it's just cool. It's super cool. For the people that like pay attention more, I guess, like, it's really fucking sick.
Yeah. I was excited to see the little bit of change. Not that what you guys, I can't even remember. I think it was it more Cage Maze there? I can't remember what you guys even had in there beforehand, but I was excited for the fact that you guys threw that room in there, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. So
yeah, that was Alien before. The Alien was just that entire area kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and I know there's some behind the scenes stuff that I can't share that Nick ran down with me when he gave me the lights on walkthrough back in October, and talking about a couple of the things that you guys have in store and you're going to be changing. And I'll just say I am excited. Like if a lot of this gets pulled off soon, that'll be very cool. Probably won't, maybe not just this year, because you guys will still have, we have MHC coming up around the corner. Then you'll have Summer Screams, and then eventually the actual season. So that'll be fun though. I know you guys were talking about summer
sadly,
screams the other night. Any plans in the works now that Easter is officially over?
oh, I don't know, man. But I found out that I'm not gonna make it to MAC this year, and I'm sad.
No, what?
Yeah,
You're
I
tied
got
up with
a
something?
I got a graduation party for an old neighbor that I haven't seen in forever. So yeah, it's that same
The whole
weekend.
weekend though?
Yeah.
Oh, it's tragic. That is terrible. Because you guys with Disturbia and Basement of the Dead, especially with Psych Jam and yourself, like you guys throw practically all the parties. You threw Zombie Prom at Trans World. You'll be throwing the costume party basically at MHC. So you guys put in a lot of effort. What's that kind of like?
I don't know. You know, like I'm the kind of person. I feel like me and Nick especially, we're the kind of people that just like to help people. I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything, but that's just how I kind of see it from my end. But like, I'm not trying to like boast on myself either, but like that's just how I am too. You know, like I love lending a helping hand. You know, like I don't know, I just love doing all this extra stuff. That's
It
why
makes it
I
more rewarding too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially like with that ghost room, like seeing it all complete and all that is like I helped with that, you know, and it just looks super sick. That's the same with the hospital. I helped with the hospital whenever we put that in like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
And yeah.
I was sitting in that little waiting room in the hospital. That was also during Valentine's Day because friends of mine were going through it, and Nick had showed me the little cut throughs, so I snuck in front of them, and they were unsuspecting completely, but I didn't know how far along they were, so I went a little further ahead, and I was like, I'll just sit here in the waiting room, and the Seneca's kids were in there. Somebody had given me a bag as I cut through the haunt, and it was this brown bag. It could have been a bomb in there, and I took it. One of the fellow actors,
what?
Yeah, I didn't question it at all. Like I'm just saying, it could have been. Turns out it was like leftover Culvers, and it was like little pretzel bites and whatever. And one of the Seneca's sons just ripped the bag open. I was like, oh, because that's how we found out what was in there. I didn't open it up. I was like, it's a brown bag. Like this could be a bomb. Like somebody mailed it to you. So they rip it open, and I see that it's like Culver's, and there's like these little pretzel bites, and they're like, should we eat it? And I'm like, probably not. Like I'm not gonna tell this little kid to eat like a pretzel ball. And so like I had it in my hand, but I have the clacker gloves on and the pan that's been touching the outside ground all night. And sure enough, my friends come through, and I handed one of them the pretzel ball, and they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a pretzel bite." And they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, you should eat it." And they ate it, so that was great. make my friends eat it, not make these little kids eat it. I wasn't eating it either. Are you kidding me? I probably ate like several ring pops off the ground. There was the one, I think there was the one that you dropped, or like I was proposing to you, or like you knocked it out of my hand. And
yeah, I think so.
I 1000% picked that back up and put it in my mouth. So that's disgusting, but you got to do what you got to do when you're haunt acting.
Yeah, I used to be a very gross guy. I've worked at Dungeon of Doom, I think 2 years ago for their subthermal thing. Someone threw out a slushy or a smoothie or something, and it was kind of ripe. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no.
You could probably see where this is going. I didn't feel too well the rest of the night, but it was for the bit. It was for the bit.
Were you a homeless guy at Dungeon of Doom?
Yeah.
Okay, we probably saw you because we went through with our group. I got fired that night. One of the gentlemen in the line. I've met him a couple times now.
Oh yeah, dude,
he was
that's my buddy.
Up. Yeah,
Matthew,
yeah.
That's my dog.
I ended up being on one of the buses with him. We were coming back from Hell's Gate, and somebody was like, "Wait, you got fired in the line at Dungeon of Doom?" They're like, "That's Matthew," and then they're like, "Matthew, stand up real quick!" And like he turns around, they're like, "You fired this guy," and I was like, "Oh my god!" He wrote me down as Barry McCockiner. Reason as to why I got fired. Tardiness, which I mean, I don't know how he hit that one on the head because that is me. Tardy here in the head and also tardy in general. But no, I mean, then what else did he put? Oh, well, the warnings section of the sheet had like written warning, emailed warning, or like however they notified you, and one of them was oral. And so he circled oral and said, yes, please. So there was that.
Yeah, dude.
And then he there was like a checklist of like the reasoning as to why you were getting this write up. And so he only checked a few of them, and I was like, well, pass me the clipboard. And I just started checking a bunch more. And he's like, oh, right. So like when in Rome, like might as well like incriminate yourself even more. I think I have a video of it. Maybe I'll throw it in here as well. But yeah, I was like,
he actually helped me
we saw you
make that homeless character. He actually helped me with that. Yeah, he's like, dude, you're gonna be a homeless guy named Daryl. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that
Okay.
was. Oh my gosh, that was okay. All right. I had to have known you by then. Yeah.
I don't know if I knew you, honestly. I think I heard of you from Nick, but I didn't personally know you like I know you now, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like we never talked or anything before.
Right. No, that's crazy though, because yeah, I definitely remember you as Daryl, just running around as a homeless dude, not even putting sentences together.
Yep.
So,
And then
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Are you so? I mean, obviously that's a little bit closer to home for you. You still occasionally go over and work with them?
No, not really. I was thinking. So I actually started a new job recently that's in Waukegan, and it's like probably 5 minutes away from them. And it's like, I'm thinking about maybe hitting up Blake or someone being like, hey, if you guys need help with anything, I'm right here. Like I could come over and help out. But I don't know how that would be with like I'd only be there to like help them build or whatever. I wouldn't work for them, I don't know how people will take that though at Disturbia.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, and you already got the gig there, but
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of get out and see other friends' haunts and stuff like that, or be able to work with them every once in a while, just because you guys are always doing your shtick at the same time. It's tough to get out and see everybody. So
that's one
But
thing
yeah.
that I do like about this year is we actually started our build a lot earlier than before. Usually we wait till like summer screens is over, but we're like, we'll just cut that section out of the haunt and just make like a hallway or whatever for the time being. And we'll just
Gotcha.
start now. So it's so nice not rushing because we just rush pretty much.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, even here at Voodoo, even though we're a home haunt and it's seasonal, like there were certain years where I knew we were going to have a busy schedule, so we'd start our build in August, and next thing you know, it's the end of September, and it's like we're still scrambling to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And make sure. But then it all comes down in like a week, which is crazy. Well, it gets pulled into the garage, and then the sorting in the garage takes a little while. But it's got to construct itself back into a garage at some point at the very end of the season. So no, that's cool, and then that's nice. I do remember there was one night that I just missed you. You were walking through Dungeon of Doom, and I was like, oh, like I was just there.
Oh yeah.
Was that for her Christmas this year? I think it was for Christmas, right?
Subthermal, yeah.
Oh yeah, subthermal. Yeah, I liked how theirs is different from the rest, where rather than with going just the straight up Christmas theme, they play into the fact that Chicago is so bitter cold.
I do like that too. Like I love how it's just different. Like I love that like Blake and Jonathan, just put together this like whole scenery, whatever you want to call it. I'm not using the right words, but yeah, like they just put their brains together and made this so unique compared to everything else. They have their own storyline, all that. It's really dope.
Yeah, I mean their world building in there, and the fact that it is like a 40-minute walkthrough. I mean, after a while, like you're kind of getting like your anxiety up because you're like, oh, is this ever going to end? You know, but like in a
Yeah.
good way where like you're not like bored with it by like the 30-minute mark. You're like, now I'm actually getting a little nervous because like we've been in here for a while and is this going to go on forever and
Yeah.
ever? But then you sign up for, have you done the buried alive at the end?
I have done that once before, and that was terrifying.
It is, dude. That's my like my number one fear for some reason is just being like I'm not claustrophobic. I feel like if I was stuck in an elevator for like 6 or 7 hours, then or more, then I'd probably start getting a little bit nervous then. But like
Yeah.
buried a lot, like the whole idea of like being so far down and like there's no way out, and you have to just sit there while you suffocate like that. I'd be freaked out. Even just like rolled up in a rug, like super tight where I can't like move. So I've done the buried alive thing probably like 3 or 4 times now. And yeah, I face my fears every single time. The one time I went in there, and you know how it's ball pit balls. One time I go in there with my dad. Actually, that was the first time I ever went through, and I didn't even tell my dad that this was my fear beforehand. So like, I told him after, and he was like, "Wait, what? Why did you sign up for this?" I'm like, "I wanted to try it. I'm a psychopath. I don't know. What do you want from me?" But he's having a good time in there, and the scene from Big Bang Theory where Sheldon's in the ball pit and he's going bazinga, bazinga. That was my dad. Literally, he was in there going bazinga, and I could hear him. But at the same time, like I'm trying to count the seconds so that like I can either determine how long they hold you in here for when I do it again, which also psychopathic thoughts right there to be like, oh yeah, I'm having a horrible experience because this is my number one fear, and let me do the notes and research so that when I do this again, yeah, insane. But I'm sitting there and I'm just like, but I started counting down from 60 because I'm like, maybe they just do a minute, which I think it is just about a minute. It depends on like how big the group is or whatever, or how many, people they have in line. But I'm also like trying to count down and like calm my breathing so that I like put myself to sleep because I'm like, if I sleep through this, it'll be good. But I mean, obviously you're not in there for very long. But yeah, absolute psychopath. And this last time that I was in there for the subthermal event, my friends didn't get the buried alive thing. I went and did it alone. It was just me in that room.
No.
And I mean, I'm sure that the two guys that work the room are great people, but like they're kind of in character too. So it's these two big burly guys, and like in the back of your head, there's always that thought of like, well, like I'm the only one in here. Like, what if they just like throw me in here and then like lock the door and then like don't come and get me? Like, I'm dead. I'm dead then at that point. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too scared originally, like going into it, but then after I got out, I was like, dude, that was a lot scarier than I fucking thought it would be.
Right? And like there have been times where I can push the balls aside and like stand up and stuff like that. Because obviously it's not actual dirt for those that don't know. Like you're not actually getting buried alive where you're gonna run out of oxygen. It's just a bunch of ball pit balls. But like I said earlier, like I do go to the gym and I do hit legs on like that teenager standing in the line at Disturbia. And like I couldn't, like they put so many ball pit balls in there. In fact, like at the first time I thought they filled the whole room from like floor to ceiling. It's not quite that much, but like I couldn't move my legs. And I'm like, these are little plastic ball pit balls and I can't like, I reached my arm up and like I couldn't feel the top surface of like where the balls stopped. And I was like, okay, so this is how I die. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah. It's kind of terrifying, and I'll do it again. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, same.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we've kind of talked a little bit about what's coming up for Disturbia, and a little bit for you. Unfortunately, that means you won't make it to MHC, and we're sad about that. But what is coming up for any of your characters? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
I was thinking about this, like when we were talking about it. I'm gonna try and make it work.
Okay. Well, I mean, is the graduation party on the Saturday night? Because then, like,
yeah, it is. Costume. But I'm gonna see if maybe I can promise to make it up like the weekend after or the weekend before. One of those kind of things. I don't know. I mean, I get it's a graduation party, like, but I mean. I don't know. That sounds so shitty.
If your friend's listening, oh no, Tyler just got sick that weekend. That's all. He's actually sitting at home doing nothing. Yeah. Party.
Yeah, we're telling the future. Watch, I
Yeah.
actually get fucking sick now.
Oh, dude, no, yeah, karma would be. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, knock on wood. No, let's hope that doesn't happen. But, yeah, first we're getting you incriminated and arrested for trespassing. Now we're telling your best friend, hey, like,
dude,
he's
next
not
time
coming
I
to your
go to
graduation
Gary,
party.
all the cops are gonna be like, "Are you Tyler Booth? Get in the back of the car."
They're gonna have the patrols waiting for you at the border. They're gonna be like
Oh.
searching every single car. They're like, yeah, and don't let this guy into the state.
Yeah, they're gonna hold up that picture of my ass. They're gonna be like, "You see this guy? You see this guy? Don't let him in."
So, and so many people are gonna say, like, how on the wanted poster they're like, "Do you recognize this man?" So many people are gonna say yes to that because so many people have seen that picture now. They're scarred for life. Oh my god. But yeah. Yeah, no, so I mean, let's hope you get a chance to make it out to MHC. Chris Soropsky, this will be a little spoiler for the listeners at home. Chris Soropsky and I are working on a couple of things that I might be hosting this year at MHC. So your boy might be on the microphone a little bit, so we got to figure out what times and stuff like that. Because also on that Saturday, for those sports fans out there, it is Montez Sweat of the Chicago Bears that is hosting like a charity softball game right here at Wintrust Field, Boomer Stadium, right up the road from me. And my WRMN side gig that we cover sports on Saturdays, or well, any days of the week now with press accreditation, but they want me. They're like, hey, can we have somebody cover this event? Like, I'm guessing it's going to be the whole team because everybody's super eager to see like what other celebrities and athletes are going to be there. But the game is at like 3:00. So I'm like, oh shoot. Like, I know the convention itself ends at 5 and then I could come back for the after party.
Yeah.
But like, do I drive all the way out to Rosemont, come back home basically just to go see this game, and then drive all the way back out? I basically did that last year though, because I had a roller hockey game at like 6:30. So what we did was go to MHC. You get no sleep that whole weekend. I'll tell you that right now too. Like everything going on. Like, we were hanging out at Hell's Gate the night before and such. So like you get zero sleep. The Chicago Haunt Builders have a breakfast at Moretti's that next morning. So you're up at like 6 a.m. to get there by like 7 to have breakfast before everything opens at like 8 a.m. or whatever it is. And then, you're at the convention all day. You get that little window of time for this guy to go and play a roller hockey game, which we were winning like 5-1. And then like I got gassed along with some of the other people because, once again, running on zero sleep. And some of our other players, they were trying hard to pick up my slack. And I turned the puck over and they went and scored the other way to make it 5-5. We lost the 5-1 lead, and I'm pretty sure we lost like 6-5. And I'm like, wow, that was my worst performance ever. Not that there are good performances, but like worst performance ever. And I was like, well, that was awful. Let's go party. So we go right back to MHC, and we're at the after party, which if anybody doesn't know, the after party has an after party, and then the after party even has like gatherings outside of the hotel rooms, and like people are like talking till like 6 a.m. when the sun's coming up, and then you do it all again the next day on Sunday because the convention continues for at least half the day. So what a weekend. I guess I would do that with this Montez Sweat game going on over here. But for you, maybe that's your window so that you can go to this graduation party for a little bit. You just take the afternoon, go to the graduation party.
Here's the thing. The graduation party is like at the tip of Wisconsin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the Friday night haunt tour is abandoned. So there you go. You're in Wisconsin. You celebrate that night. You come to MHC Saturday.
I'm thinking about it, honestly.
We're crossing our fingers. Let's hope we get Tyler there. Let's hope we get Areush there.
Because I'm actually trying to make a fucking costume.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna enter into the competition then?
I don't know. I might.
Okay.
I don't know. Me, David, and the Seneca boys are all kind of doing like the same kind of thing. David got a costume down at Transworld, and we're all trying to make it. They're all kind of like post-apocalyptic. Like there's just signs as armor kind of thing, like road signs. So I've been collecting some road signs. I actually shot a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of bullet holes in them. Yeah, I don't know. I was fucking.
That's for practice for when you go back to Indiana and somebody pulls a gun on you.
Oh yeah. I'm not a good shot. I think I missed the signs probably like 10 times, and there's one that's. Let's see if you see that. You see that? That's one of the signs that I have. That's my tool. That's my other toolbox, but that's not the exact sign, but it's the same exact sign, if that makes any sense.
But he's just out here stealing signs, and that big of a sign, and you're not able to hit it. I don't think you could hit water if you fell out of a boat. What are we doing here, pal?
Oh, I can. I don't know if you've seen the video, but Barstool actually posted it.
Oh, that's
I fell
right.
off a boat. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought I was gonna fucking die.
Yeah, you are Barstool famous, so I'm jealous of that. That's pretty cool. Oh my god!
I'm surprised
what
that they
happened?
posted
The side of the boat just fell off.
Dude, we were fucking doing like donuts. If you can do donuts in a boat, and then that one dude decided to sit on the railing pretty much, and the whole side just. And I was eating wheat thins, and I started choking on them when I fell in the water.
Oh my god! Oh well,
Yeah.
They definitely. If anybody's ever eaten wheat thins, they definitely were not great after that, and soggy and everything.
Dude, it was just a sea of wheat thins.
Oh my god!
After the fact, the box went with. I was probably more sad about the box falling in than like losing my glasses.
It's like putting what's that one cereal? Chex Mix, or no, not the Chex Squares in milk. So, yeah, that's got to be pretty soggy after. That's awesome.
Yeah,
though.
that was so sad. I think I went straight to Dollar General after the fact and got some more.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so that you can hit water if you fall out of a boat. But you can't hit the side of a barn with a paddle. That's the analogy. And then they'll ask you, they'll be like, Tyler, why did it take you so long to make this like post-apocalyptic costume with all the signs? And you're like, because I had to like shoot it 700 times just to get one bullet hole in there. What are you shooting with? What do you have?
So I actually brought it up to my cousins because they live in pretty much bumfuck nowhere, and he has a 9mm pistol that we were shooting it with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we were trying that before. I've only gone shooting at a range like once, and it was somebody else's gun, but I'm probably no good either.
It's okay. Well, twinsies.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
Call me to come help you with this costume. It gets done slower.
Dude, I haven't really had a lot of time to. Well, I do have time to do it. I'm just super fucking tired most of the time though, because I'm also going to school for welding on the weekends. You know, I do some welding I haven't really done a lot at Disturbia, but you know, I'm doing some there.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. It's fucking. I'm dead. DEAD.
Other than like, you know, of course, the stuff that's going on just at Disturbia without you, and we've talked about how you yourself are maybe going to be free for MHC, definitely probably going to be there for summer screams depending on the weekend.
Oh, I'll for sure be there.
And then come haunt season, but even come summer screams, what is in store for you and your characters? Are you going to be dressed up as Areush for summer screams, or are you just going to save him for the season? And what can we expect from the character coming soon?
I don't necessarily have a character name for this guy. He just wears Hawaiian shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. That's about it. And a bucket hat.
Yeah, there you go.
I think last year I was actually Daryl mixed with that. Maybe I'll do that again. But I was like sweating a lot because I decided to wear the sweater that I have with it. So no, fuck it. We'll just make it Daryl. It's Daryl.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I gotta
Summer
think if I do get some time to once again act with you guys, life's been crazy, but if I'll come through if I'm not acting. But let's hope I get back into it. I've been thinking about like what I even want to do, because I don't want to just I made Rivets Christmas, and I wanted to go with a new character for Valentine's Day, but neither one of those characters would really, I think, fit with a summer theme, unless I just put like bathing suit trunks on Rivets. But like, gotta come up with something better than that. So I gotta go back to the think tank and see what's going on. But no, that's awesome that you have definitely like vacation stand going on over there.
Yeah. I think last year I actually did like just sit in a lawn chair the entire time too. Not the entire time. I was running chainsaw, but while I was waiting for people, I was just
you're like
just
David Sarah,
pretending to play.
Character.
I was pretending to play the chainsaw like it was a banjo. Just waiting for people to come out.
Oh my god. And then for Areush, I mean, what can we? Is he getting new paint cans for this fall? What are we getting?
Dude, honestly, what I did with that, I just bought the cart on Amazon, and then I went straight to the office at Disturbia, and I was like, what can I put on this thing? So I'll probably just rummage through all the shelves at Disturbia again. Probably more paint cans.
Find that Borat DVD. We need to find it, and you need to carry that around with you.
Dude, I'll just
This
go
my cousin, yes.
Yes. This is my uncle Borat. You ever heard of him?
Oh, my gosh. Well, buddy, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for hopping on. Is there anything that we might have missed? I don't think so.
Not that I can think of.
You do have a lot going on, though. I'm glad
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that hockey game, though. That's all I'm going to say.
We are not confirmed yet, but I think it is actually going to get pushed back into August this year, and I think it's going to be August 2nd. So keep your calendar marked. I'll hit you up with, because we're always looking for goalies. We always need goalies, so that'll be a huge help. This is a little bit of a spoiler information too. I don't know if this is going to happen. We are looking to try to make it a 4-team tournament. So we probably still share the 2 goalies so that you guys would play, and it wouldn't be all the games in one day, because if it's brutally hot outside, you guys would die. But we'll play a couple games like throughout the week, see how that goes. And those will be truncated games. It won't be like the full length thing that we do on Saturday. But then Saturday will be our usual big championship that we do we don't do fireworks if anybody's listening, but when we do the fireworks and then we do the announcers and the music and all the pomp and circumstance, and it'll be fun. So yeah, SHL is a fun time, and we're so happy that we'll be adding you. So it'll be cool.
I'm happy to join.
That's awesome. Where can people find you on social media if they want to reach out to Areush or the band himself?
Yeah, I guess Instagram. I barely go on a lot of social media, I guess, other than Snapchat. But yeah, I don't know.
What is your Instagram? Because I'm always like struggling to find which one is
Experiment 9_9.
Okay, I think I've tagged that one, but then like there's the Scarecrow account, and I'm just like,
yeah, I think a lot of people tag that one because it says my name, but I haven't used that one in forever.
That's what I was noticing, and I'm like, I think the Experiment 9 one's more recent, but yeah, so
yeah, because Justin actually was trying to tag me, and he tagged the fucking the Harold the Scarecrow one, and I'm like, dude, I don't even use that account. And he's like, well, which one do you use, mother trucker, Dad? I'm like, dude.
Yeah, the second best DJ at Basement of the Dead.
Yes,
that guy.
Second best, and Sam is number 50.
Oh, poor Sam, just taking the brunt of it. Before we go, do you have any funny stories about Justin between what has happened with
dude? Every time I'm with him, something crazy fucking happens, man. There's so much. One that I'll share. I don't know if he wants to share it or not, but fuck it. This was at MHC. His ass was probably like super drunk or something, and he went to the wrong hotel. and he went into some dude's door, and he legit said that it was like a mafia meeting. And he was like being held in like a headlock. I don't. A lot of crazy shit happened.
Just some random guy, some random dude.
Yeah,
mafia.
Yeah.
Oh
we
my
were
God,
staying at Doubletree, and he went to the one right next to it. What's the one right next to it?
I'm not sure. Is that a Hilton or is it a Hyatt or a Holiday Inn?
I don't know. Everyone else was fucking like, it's either Doubletree or there. Is what I noticed at least. Is like,
I think there's a Marriott out there too, but I don't know which one.
It may have been. Actually, wait, no. Okay. He went to the Doubletree. We were staying at the Marriott. I don't fuck. It was something like that. But he decided to go into the other hotel, and he went to his room number, but it wasn't his room, and the door was open, and yeah. And he's like, "Where were you, cousin? I almost get in a fight, and you disappear on me." I'm like, dude, how the fuck how am I supposed to know where you're gonna go, buddy?
You were busy out in Indiana getting shot at, and this man's being taken by the mafia. Like,
oh, dude. There's another thing too. I feel so bad for this. I accidentally deleted the voicemail that he sent me because I disappeared for a little bit, and he like called me and he left me a voicemail. And that was the funniest thing of all time. I think Kelsey has it on video. I don't know if it's the entire thing or not, but that was so fucking funny. We were planning a trip to O Block from the convention center. I went dumpster diving. We took a tire. We put it in David and Sarah's room. A lot of shit happened at MHC last year.
Nice. Oh, this was just last year. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, this was just last year.
Wow. What do we see? What was I saying earlier? The weekend doesn't stop. There's always something going on. You get no sleep. All these crazy things happen and more. So that makes me eager to walk into a mafia meeting this year. So yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll join you.
Being Italian, I probably know a couple of the guys in there. They'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?
Hey, a big spicy meatball.
I'm sorry I missed the last meeting. How we doing today, guys?"
I got the meatball sub.
Yeah, I brought the chicken parms you guys wanted, huh? You get room service tips and fees over here? Oh, my gosh. Well, buddy, this has been awesome. Thank you again for hopping on. We can't wait to see you in action. Absolutely. So we will we'll see you at Disturbia, but let's hope we see you at MHC as well.
I'm hoping.
All right, cool. Well, all right, buddy. I will see you later. And for those listeners, go and get your MHC passes now. This is, of course, the April episode, so that is coming up in June. So you have a whole nother month of May. Nothing really going on in May this year, I don't think. Even Old Joliet, I don't know if they've actually made this public yet, so I don't know if I can share it. But they're halfway to Halloween. Is probably not going to be in May, and that is all I will say. So we shall see. So take May off. We won't be. We'll be right back in here in May. But thank you guys again for listening. And like I said, Tyler, we will see you soon.
See you soon.